Egwene stood with her, rather than returning to her study immediately. It felt relaxing to stare out at the distant light, so welcoming and noble. Storms will soon come, it seemed to say, but for now, I am here. I am here, but I don't know where Clarus is. That is right. What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy, and I'm Clarus, and this is the Nerdy, the Wordy, the Book Club. This is the final episode of the chapter sections of The Gathering Storm. We will have a full book recap next week, which I will hopefully have a co-host for. I'm assuming at some point during the show I will get one. But for now, you just get me. Hi, chat. How you doing? How is everybody? Thanks for being here. We have a couple of people to say thank you to already this morning. Arazu Kashefapur, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Oh, there she is.
Is that what you think I sound like?
I'm Clarice Polaris.
Wow.
Yeah. There was a, oh my God, wait, I think I lost it.
What?
There was a super chat, and there were 2 other people who joined the Nargs, and the chat went away. Thank you for that super chat and for joining the Nargs, y'all. Get over here. What are you doing?
Sorry. I was going to go try and look for this
What's she doing?
super chat.
Clarus, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, no, the first thing that's on here for me is... Arzu, thank you for 5 gifted subs.
Yeah,
I also saw this morning, though, that... Because I popped in the
Someone
chat.
said cool.
And Dirt Burb also gifted subs as well.
Already?
Yeah.
Dirt
Burb was like early
Before
bird
we
gets
were
the
live?
worm.
Early Burb gets the worm. Michael Kioski, thank you for $5 for the beard fund. The beard will be back. Y'all.
Beard fun.
The beard will be back.
Yeah, don't worry.
This was a mistake, but it's fine.
No, you did that on purpose. It wasn't a mistake.
Just because you do something on purpose doesn't mean it's not a mistake.
That depends.
Mistakes aren't accidents. Mistakes are things that you did wrong.
Yeah, but like...
Doing something on purpose does not preclude it from being a mistake.
You know what? It's not noon yet, okay? My brain...
all right, y'all.
On low power mode.
We have officially read 12 books of the Wheel of Time. Crazy,
Hell
right?
yeah, let's go.
Some crazy shit.
Yeah, there's been some ups and some downs.
Not in this book. It's mostly ups.
Mostly ups.
This book rocks.
Yeah, this book's fucking fantastic.
I really like The Gathering Storm, y'all.
But before we get into that, we do have
housekeeping?
A little bit of housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Because we're doing a morning show on Monday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come hang out with us Monday at 11 a.m. We're going to be talking all about the roleplay relay, making some announcements.
Yeah, we got some big stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. We're going to be announcing I think we can just say it, right? Let book club know first.
Yeah, you guys are here.
Don't tell anyone.
Right secrets. On time. You get to know before anybody else, I guess.
So on Monday we're going to be dropping a Kickstarter for the roleplay relay. Mm-hmm. It's not the kind of Kickstarter where like if the Kickstarter succeeds or doesn't, the thing will happen or not. We're doing the roleplay relay no matter what.
Yes.
But we wanted, if people wanted to, help us fund the thing, we wanted to give people the opportunity to be a part of the game. So there will be NPCs that you can name for a small donation, or for a larger donation, you can name the Big Bad. One person is going to get to name the Big Bad. Big
Bad's up for grabs. There's also magic items. Like there's going to be just different like tiers, I guess. There's going to be like a general support tier if you want to just be like, yeah, woo, excited for this, cool.
Yeah.
But we are going to be offering you guys stuff in exchange because there's things that we want to incorporate the audience into the show as much as possible, but it's really hard to do that in the middle of it, especially when we're running for 7 days straight.
Yes.
So we are like allowing chat to be a part of the story. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Make sure you come by the morning show for that. That's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday.
So come join us for a nightly morning show. We haven't done one in a while. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we'll probably talk some nerd news as well, but a lot of
Little Mermaid. Brian E.T., thank you for that super chat. Since we heard Nerdy's banger impression of Claris, can we hear Claris's impression of Nerdy? Go, come on, I want to hear it.
Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy. That's
That
all
was
I
just
got.
you, but louder.
Yeah.
You didn't change your voice at all.
I pitched it down. Like, if I were doing me, I'd be
Maybe
like,
I
oh,
have.
what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy. Like, that's, like, my voice, and I put you, like, a little bit down here.
But no, you just put me in your normal speaking voice. And instead of your show, your live...
not in my... I can't today. There's no chance.
Well, but I mean, this isn't my speaking voice, but I still put it on for
Yes,
chorus
but
chorus.
you have an extra set of vocal cords? No, you have an extra muscle. No, sorry.
I mean, we both have an extra set of vocal folds. That is true.
Sorry, yes, but men have a larger range with their vocal folds because of you can shorten them.
Mm-hmm.
What? It's true.
You got there at the end.
I did. Okay, I know some things.
Turvok says, can we name the big bad Cadsuane? For a sizable donation, you can.
Turvok, thank you so much. Welcome back to the Dinner Table. But yes, that is possible. I would like it known that I'm playing Stardew Valley right now, and all of my animals are named after Wheel of Time characters. And I finally found a dinosaur egg, and it hatched into a dinosaur, and I named it Cadsuane.
That is very funny.
You'll never guess my horse's name.
Karlak. Karlak, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for convincing me to never shave my beard off. That one feels mean. But I appreciate you
doing the
paying
Lord's work.
to mock me.
You're doing the Lord's work, you know?
LW, thank you for 5
Thank
gifted
you so
memberships.
much for 5 memberships. Let's go.
It's the start of the show, and we have a review that we promised to read from Apple Podcasts. You can go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. We will read literally anything that you write, as evidenced by what I'm about to read, because I don't know what Ildwam said, but this is what Ildwam wrote about our show on Apple Podcasts. It is important we remember 'twas the 5th night of November, when they conspired to dismember England's governmental core. For distinctly their own reasons, they committed many treasons. At the changing of the seasons, treasons many would abhor. With gunpowder they had stashed away deep down beneath the floor. Only this, or something more? I can think of no excuses for overlooking these abuses. In fact, I feel it introduces cause to ruminate forevermore. If we let ourselves forget it, I fear one day we'll regret it. In the future we may get hit, perils facing us once more. Yes, filthy, vile Catholic perils will be facing us once more, here and now, just like before. Conspirators, they number many, more than halfway up to 20. It's Guy Fawkes, who most among them that we heartily deplore. Certainly it was his motive, he believed it sacred votive, to render via detonation king and parliament no more. He would, this is so fucking long. He would have both king and parliament explode and be no more. Kill them all is what he swore. Underneath the tower dug he, violent Catholic evil thug, violent Catholic evil thug he, wow, that is a use of commas, waited for them to assemble barrels numbering 70. The scansion of this is a little bit rough. Sorry, I know this is a very famous poem, but there is some shenanigans, okay, in this poem.
Mm-hmm.
Really, there were 36 there, piled up with coal and sticks, where he held his lantern and his matches set to make the fires roar. Numbers might be off, it's true, but rhyming truly can be such a chore? Yeah, that is a weird scansion. Date and time, November 4. Oh my god, there's 3 more paragraphs! It was lucky that they caught him deep below the earth. They fought him in the morning. There should be a limit on how long the reviews on Apple could be.
I know.
It was lucky that they caught him deep below the earth. They fought him in the morning. Then they brought him to the king he was done for. Johnson is my name. He told them blatant lies. He did not to hold them. Well, out they went to once through the countryside explore, knowing as they did that where there's one, there's always must be more. I can't read faster because I'm dyslexic. This is so hard. Go and knock on every door. Fox was hanged and drawn and quartered, making him a fair bit shorter. This was by the king's own order, real unnecessary gore. Every year since we burn him into an effigy, we turn him, making sure our children learn grim lessons from the days of yore. Grim lessons, they had little of need of these for brutal days of yore. Also fireworks galore, I am so dyslexic. Nowadays it's just for funsies, don't wish it on anyone, please. We care very little for the insurrection anymore. It has become a fun tradition, so each year a new edition, reimagine fresh edition that you've never seen before. A long, pretentious, grandiose attempt to top the year before. Each of the year today, more.
God.
Fuck yeah, Eldron, let's go!
You made it through, you know. I'm surprised they didn't put the lyrics of Hamilton. That one you could have just done.
We get DMCA'd by an Apple Podcast review.
I can see it happening.
Patrick and Darren, thank you so much for
Patrick,
that.
thank you for the super chat. I apologize sincerely to our podcast listeners.
Watch Nerdy slowly lose his mind as he's forced to read a poem live on stream.
Is someone gonna put the entire chapter of The Last Battle in an Apple podcast?
I just want to watch someone be like, oh, the Nerdy Wordy book club, that sounds interesting. Let me read a review for it. Why did someone post the entirety of Remember the 5th of November?
Oh my God. No, that's, you know what? Oh man, I have a tongue twister
No.
redeem on Twitch, and as a professional, you did very well.
Thank you. I did not. That was terrible. There is something we should talk about before we get into the book today.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I almost forgot.
What?
Well, in case you didn't realize, we got a date. You said yes,
we've been on many dates.
Yeah, you said you'd go on a date with me. So.
Yeah. Clarissa and I went on a date last week that you guys paid for. It was good.
Oh yeah, that
fun.
Actually that was
Fast
great.
X was not good, but ooh, question. You were neither a fan of Fast X nor you didn't love Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid was
Which
fine.
one did you like more? Compare Fast X and Little Mermaid really quick live on stream.
Little Mermaid is definitely a better movie.
Boom, done. Moving on. So no, we got a date for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a date for season 2 of The Wheel of Time. It's a terrible date. It's the worst date possible
Literally
for us.
the worst date that they could have possibly chosen.
We're going to be at Dragon Con, so we will be drunk at 10 a.m. It's going to be a fun drunk book club.
Why are we going to be drunk at 10 a.m.?
Because it's Dragon Con. No sleeping. No sleep till Brooklyn. No.
Don't know it. Sorry.
Don't know it.
Don't know it.
Yeah. How are we feeling about the photos? How are we feeling about the released photos? Should we go through them?
There's some stuff on there. There's some stuff. I've seen some
I feel like
rumors
it's bad
around
podcast
Twitter.
content, but most people watch the YouTube video.
Yeah. Sorry, podcast listeners. Bear with us for a moment. But yeah, we got some photos. We got some nails. Surath serving nails. There's been some speculation that Ishamael's holding a terangrial. Which kind of makes sense to me. I don't know why else he'd be holding.
I don't think he's holding anything.
Yeah, he is. There's a metal band. If you zoom in here, control zoom. Zoom.
No,
nope. Other hand. Zoom.
All right, let's put this over here.
Oh, we're gonna show them. Oh,
Nope.
That's the wrong one. Sorry, I should check on chat. How we doing, chat? Really like Maureen's dress. You know what? I agree. I think it's a fucking banger.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, we got some photos. So I guess we'll start with the.
We're gonna start with the oh no wait, there's more up top. Where does
dress.
We're on digitalspy.com. Thank you, Digital Spy, for posting the photos for us. The dress.
Great, fantastic, love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Where do you think this is?
No idea.
No idea.
You're welcome. Like
It's weird that everyone's in blue.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the Borderlands to me. I have no basis for that. It's just my
It is just very strange to me. Like her blue looks great, but everybody's in the same blue.
Yeah, the
which I find
color
very
palette.
Odd.
Yeah.
Oh, you think it's Kyrian?
Yeah, a lot of people love or think that it's Kyrian.
Are we going to Kyrian in season 2?
Here's the thing. I thought that when Moraine went to Kyrian, she always had the slashes of colors of her house on her dress.
I don't think the slashes are going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think that style is going to be in the show.
Yeah.
But this looks great. I do like that she is very much like I'm still Aes Sedai, even though she can't channel. So I do think that that's going to be an interesting part of her having to keep that ruse up.
Yeah, maybe at this point she can channel again. I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep Moraine from being able to use the one power.
Oh,
to keep it interesting. And I don't know what episode this is from, so who knows? But yes, you have to keep up that Aes Sedai ruse, you know.
After that, we have Rand al'Thor looking hard already.
Very hard.
Very hard.
Yes. Rand al'Thor is a hard boy.
He's a hard boy.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying that this is the Sanshin flag, so this is probably at Falma. So this will probably be later on in the season, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna take some time to get there, right?
Yeah, this could be the episode that he kills what's his face?
Turok Makto.
Turok. Yeah. I was like, Talmains? That's not it. That's the wrong character.
But yeah, we also don't know yet if this is with hair or without hair Rand. So I'm wondering if he's bald the whole season, or maybe there is some red peeking out of under this. We just can't see it.
Yeah, no, I think it'll grow back.
Rand Tamar, thank you for joining the Nargs.
Rand, thank you for 9 months. Let's go.
But let's get into the controversial shit.
The spicy stuff.
Masema and the Aiel fighting side by side?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be Masema. I haven't looked at the casting, so.
There's a part of me that hopes that Perrin's hair just grows every season.
Just gets taller and taller.
And that he just is his hair makes him Loyal's height by the end of the show.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about Aviendha, though?
I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
Honestly, I dig the Aiel look. I think it's cool.
I'm not gonna lie. There's an element of the way that they did Falma.
His Perrin dressed as Shrek. You just need to cut the vest a little shorter.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
You're not wrong.
You ain't wrong. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, yeah. It is very Shrek-like. It's also mossy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, I can't unsee it.
You can't unsee it. Wow, thanks.
Gonna build me a wall.
Narandin.
Make it 10 feet high. I kind of wish that Falma, aesthetically, Falma and the Aiel are very similar to me.
Yeah, yeah.
They look like they live in the same world in a way that I find interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if that's intentional.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see. The costumes they look lived in, which is nice.
That is true. Yeah, yeah.
It's always weird when people are unless they're obviously high royalty, when it looks too clean and new.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's a bit short. There's only so much you can do with that. I feel
yeah.
Perrin's also very tall. Him and Rand are the two tall ones in the two rivers, and Matt's a little bit shorter. So, the whole height thing. Moraine's also tall. It doesn't really matter to me.
I also, I like Masema's armor. I think this outfit back here looks really good. Yeah.
Very cool.
And we get Loyal's hand here, so Loyal is here.
I thought that was Loyal, yeah. Yeah, but it's funny because Loyal's shoulder looks to be, because that shot, he's probably not made to look larger. Mm-hmm. His shoulder looks around the same height as Masema's.
Oh, yeah.
Where his arm rests, but that's definitely
Loyal is taller than Ishamael.
He's not actually that tall.
Loyal is his hair is taller than Ishamael, but their head heights are almost the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a little perspective going on here, but not much.
Well, he's only about 2 paces back. But we got the nails.
We got the nails.
Okay, those are
This is a woman who can't wipe.
No.
This woman right here, she's wiping this woman.
Probably. These are way longer than I thought.
Some are saying that's a White Cloak arm. No, that's Loyal's hand. That is a fake hand. That is not a human hand.
Yeah.
That is way too thick.
Yeah, that's thick.
Yeah, that's that hand right there.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the image of all of the images. Mm-hmm. This is the image that gives me the most pause.
Mm-hmm. Because why the fuck is the Ishamael with Surath? I think maybe that this means they might be cutting Semiraj.
Oh, you think it's that?
Yeah. Honestly, I think that it's a possibility. Because obviously we know Surath is a dark friend. But the fact that Loyal is right behind Ishamael is really fucking weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
This is the image to me that both says that they're going to be very explicit about the Sanshin being evil.
Yeah.
In the show.
Yeah.
And also to me that raises the most questions for me in terms of what are we going to what narrative are we telling around this version of Ishamael? Because this version of Ishamael feels more like Moradin.
Yes.
Than he ever felt before he was brought back.
Yeah.
It feels like they've kind of jumped over the crazy part of him and gone straight to, also insane, but the Moradin version of this character.
Well, and you didn't really love the first version of Ishamael. You're like, this dude's just doing the same thing over and over again. And so I can get trimming some of that fat out,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I just, I do hope they find a way to make him if he's going to be the villain of the show, I hope he is intimidating for Rand in more than just being only accessible in dreams. Like I hope that I hope the way they handle this is interesting.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's working so obviously with the Sanshin is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I wondered honestly if the person on the left was Semiraj. Because I'm not really sure about the iconography that they're using for the Sanshin for distinguishing like who's who. So this is her truth speaker. Right? Yeah, that
she has the shaved half on this side.
Yeah, that to me, I was like, maybe that's Sarath's truth speaker. Like maybe that's just Semiraj, and they're introducing her in season 2.
Maybe.
But not sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, not sure.
The thing about this that weirds me out is that that we're already going to have a character who does not lower his eyes among the blood. And I like this is going to setting up the Sanshin culture for the audience. I think is going to be harder by having him so obviously there.
Yeah, even this soldier right here is like
he's
dead
not
straight ahead,
down.
and the other two are like.
Yeah, and so like that's an interesting part of it, right? Like this side all got the memo until back here, but these people can't see them anymore anyway.
Yeah.
But this guy right here is kind of fucking up the whole thing.
He's slacking.
Then we get you know what she's thinking about here, right? She's in a kitchen, and she's like, the last time I was in a kitchen, I was getting
Rand.
doinked by Rand so hard.
So where's
the kitchen
Rand?
of the Wine Spring Inn?
Give me that dick.
She's like, if I bond Rand as my warder, if I bond Rand as my warder, can I fuck him in this kitchen? Which is going to bring us to a prediction that I have.
Oh, a prediction.
But we'll get to that later.
I'm not gonna lie. I want that kitchen. The stonework is just like so nice. Like I'm like, fuck. I want to
live in a castle.
I want a castle. Anyone have a spare castle?
I will say they have very, very good glass workers in Randland. Like these glasses are very consistent. It's well
probably
done.
the
well
sea
done.
folk,
Probably the sea folk.
Yeah.
And then we get Sad Matt. Look at our curly-haired sad boy.
Sad boy Matt. You could do this cosplay really well because you've got similar hair.
I'd have to dye my hair a little bit darker, but yeah.
Darker?
I think
Not
so.
in the winter.
That's fair.
I think that's about your like winter color.
Yeah, the problem is I'm never that sad, except every time I cry, which is awesome. I think that's all the photos. I like them.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. We're oh yeah.
Oops.
Oh well. Yeah, I mean we're not really one of those like deep dive channels where we're gonna go over everything with a magnifying glass. I'm kind of more excited to have elements of surprise. And so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's cool. It's cool. It's gonna be the absolute worst possible date that it could be for us. But it's fine. We're gonna get over it. We kind of have an idea.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Plan? No.
Oh, do you want to go into it?
Well, I think we should prepare people. Because a lot of people think that we're going to be finishing this
I think people are going to be
series.
upset with what we're about to say.
But yeah, people are going to be a little upset.
This is the last bit of housekeeping, then we're going to get into the chapters.
Yes. I'm so sorry. It does not look like we were able to finish a memory of...
Did we miss Nynaeve? Nynaeve was in the Digital Spy article, but yeah, Nynaeve is in her underpants.
Yeah,
in that one photo. And she looks like Nynaeve.
I'm assuming that's like the accepted test.
Yeah.
My assumption. Yeah, we're not going to be able to finish A Memory of Light before season 2 comes out.
Yeah.
I know. I know. I'm upset about it as well. I was really hoping that things would just line up perfectly, but they don't, unfortunately. We would have to rush the end of this series, which neither of us are willing to do.
Tom Maines, thank you for that super chat.
Tom Maines, thank you.
Season 1 reaction's still on. We're about to talk about that.
Yes.
Thank you for the super chat.
Yes, thank you for the super chat. So, the next coming weeks, obviously next week we're doing our full recap for The Gathering Storm, which I'm very excited about, and then we will be moving on to Towers of Midnight. And then after Towers of Midnight, instead of moving on to...
Well, after Towers of Midnight, we have the roleplay relay.
Yes.
And so that'll be 2 weeks. We're going to come back from the roleplay relay with reactions. And then we're going to spend the month of August, 11 a.m. Every Friday morning. We're going to show up and we're going to talk about 2 episodes of the show.
Yep.
We're going... season 1. We're going to do all of season 1 in August. And then we're going to do the... show season 2 for 8 weeks, which is going to be September and October.
Yes.
And then we're going to spend 8 weeks We're going to spend all of November and all of December on the Memory of Light.
8 weeks?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, because we had talked about
how we were doing like 6 parts, but
yeah, no, but we had talked about we're gonna do the book in 6 chunks.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do a full book recap of the Memory of Light.
Right.
And then we're going to do a series recap stream.
Right. Nope, that's correct. Yeah. So 7 weeks for the book, and then a stream that's like an overview of the series as a whole. We're probably going to sprinkle in a couple things in between there. I think that it would be really fun to do a character tier list before moving on to Memory of Light.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we're going to do that's a little more casual, a little more fun. We have also talked about the Wheel of Time Civilization mod as something maybe we do in the fall.
Yeah.
That's like Wheel of Time adjacent, but it's a little more fun. And
but yeah, that'll have us ending that will have us ending on the 2-year anniversary of the start of book club.
What?
So the Wheel of Time will be almost exactly 2 years. We'll do the full series recap. It won't be the exact day.
Yeah, it'll be a year and 11 months.
No, it'll be 2 years exactly. We started on December 29th.
Oh, because the show is 8 weeks, so it's all of September, all of October.
And then all of November and all of December are going to be Memory of Light, and we're going to end on we're going to have spent exactly 2 years on the Wheel of Time. But yeah, we're still gonna be live almost every Friday for the rest of the year talking about Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
It's just that for 3 months that's gonna be talking about the show.
Yeah.
And then for 2 months it's gonna be the final book. The only way that we could have gotten the Memory of Light in before the show would have been to rush it in 4 chunks. And I'm enjoying the book so much again that I don't want to rush the end. Because I think the end is going to be worth it.
And I think that these books deserve the time.
I want to take time.
Yeah.
This will all change if the show does put out 3 episodes on the first day, obviously.
Yeah, we're going to take that as it comes and just figure that out on the way. It feels so weird that we're like so close to the end, but we're not going to get there for a while. And I'm like, it's weird. I am very sad about it, but I also like don't want it to end.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I have like very conflicting feelings about that. So.
And I don't want to rush the book experience because the show's coming out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I really want to be able to like dive deep on Memory of Light.
Yes.
And so we're going to do this because I think it's going to be the best way for us to get the experience that we want out of the books. I know it's going to be frustrating for some people who watch the show, and I'm sorry about that. I know that there are people who don't care about the show and just want to do book stuff, and I totally understand.
Yeah.
But for our sake, I think that it's just going to allow us to have time to enjoy it. And honestly, like I think ending with like a Christmas book club is going to be very fun.
Yeah. We're gonna be home for Christmas, so
and then
it'll be fun.
Then we're gonna start 2024 with Murtagh. We're gonna do the Aragon book first.
Yeah.
And then who knows what's after that? We've still got some. It's kind of like Cosmere, Expanse.
Yeah, those are
we don't know yet,
two big contenders. But I do still want to do the Aragon book. It'll give you guys time to read it first if you like. We can't do that in November anymore because obviously Wheel of Time. But that we do still want to do that. It's more of a one-off, a little more casual, and just something that's like really like near and dear to my heart. And so, yeah, Turok, thank you for that super chat. Any word on if they're doing animated origins?
The 2 episodes are done. Like they'll come out when they come out, but
whenever they decide to drop them, we will probably react and talk about them. But yeah.
So with that said, Clarence, how did you feel about the end of that? That was it's only a half hour. We have had longer housekeepings before. Yeah. Without that weren't not at all about Wheel of Time. We at least talked about the photos.
There was a lot.
This was not our worst housekeeping ever.
No.
Proud of us.
Not our worst. Let's go. Yeah. I have very conflicting feelings about.
I did see someone in chat said, is it confirmed to be 8 episodes? It is. Season 2 is going to be 8 episodes.
8 episodes. Yeah. Yes. Now, whether or not they drop 2 or 3 on the first day or anything like that, we'll just have to take that as it comes.
Yeah. Which will suck because we will be at Dragon Con. And our content might be up a week late, but it'll be fine. We're
going to do our best.
We'll get the other 5 weeks of it on time.
Yes. Sorry, y'all. We're doing our best here, and I apologize. I wish the show came out at the end of September, but it doesn't fucking matter. We're here. We're here to talk about The Gathering Storm, which is a fucking banger book. How'd you feel about it?
Wow.
What?
Just shouting at me.
I mean, you
I'm so
want me to
No, I'm good. I liked it. There's definitely things about it that there's definitely stuff in the early half of Gathering Storm that feels a little bit like tying up earlier books. But once this book kind of gets the slog out of the way, it really is just pretty incredible, honestly. Like, I loved so much about how Brandon Sanderson adapted the world of the Wheel of Time to his writing, and the way in which he moved these characters forward, and the way in which he had these characters interact with one another. I think that Brandon Sanderson really took up the mantle of Robert Jordan's work in a way that I don't know how anyone else could have done it better. You know what I mean? I don't, and granted, I don't read all the fantasy in the world, so like I don't know who that author would have been.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I feel like this told a really incredible Wheel of Time story while being very respectful of Robert Jordan.
Yes.
I never felt like this was an author coming in and trying to make this his series.
Yeah.
Even though I do think there are elements of the series that I think Brandon Sanderson writes better than Robert Jordan, and there are elements that he doesn't write as good as Robert Jordan, right?
Totally.
It is a mix of both. But there is a lot of what Brandon Sanderson brought to the book that I think really elevated the narrative coming out of what were some books that I really struggled with, right?
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that we have book club, because I wouldn't have finished the series without it, and I wouldn't have gotten to this book, and I love this book quite a lot.
Yeah.
If I was reading this on my own, I would have stopped. I probably would have stopped in book 7 or 8, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Because I don't have free time. I don't have time to like read shit that I'm not loving.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so grateful for book club, because there were years where I didn't read anything because it's like, I'm too busy. But no, now it's like part of my like weekly routine, and it brings me so much joy.
Well, and it got me to this book, and I'm so glad that we didn't stop, because this book is like truly wonderful, and and this section has some of those moments that like are just so good that it like recontextualizes earlier stuff in a way that's really great.
Yeah.
I do. This book is definitely, getting to the end of this book definitely makes me wish that this series was tighter, because I feel like there's some emotional beats in this novel that if the pacing of this whole series has gotten to them a little bit cleaner, I think they would have landed better.
Sure, yeah.
But some of the payoff is for things that happened so long ago and with so much in between that it's a little bit muddled in that way.
Fair.
But other than that, I really think The Gathering Storm is one of the best Wheel of Time books. I wouldn't say it's better than Shadow Rising. I still think Shadow Rising is the gold standard of this series for me. But I would put this at tied for second, probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking similarly, to be honest. And that being said, the better Wheel of Time books, in my opinion, we did read months and months ago now, and so I'll be really interested to see in the future if and how my rankings change by what are you laughing at?
In an alternate universe, it was finished by J.K. Rowling.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine the names?
Bogman says I have good money on the line if Nerdy cried for one chapter. So did you cry at all?
Almost.
Me too. Almost.
Yeah, I didn't quite cry.
It was close enough.
Yeah.
There was like a single tear,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't cry, but I almost did.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot going on last night.
Are y'all making bets in the spoiler chat?
I was distracted by the hockey game.
Wow.
But yeah, oh my god, can you imagine like if J.K. Rowling had renamed Tuon when she became Empress, what that name would have been?
No, I really don't want to think about
Tuon Shacklebolt.
Fuck off. Jesus Christ. Get out of here. Oh my god. Okay.
I'm sure it would not have. I'm sure it wouldn't have been racist.
No, definitely not.
No, you were saying how you were feeling. What were you thinking about the book?
No, that was pretty much my feelings on it. I'm so mad at you right now.
You don't like Tuon Shacklebolt?
No, I don't. God damn it. Yeah, so it wasn't like a lot of reading this week, but there was a lot going on.
But it was so dense. Like it would be impossible to like I'm glad there wasn't more this week because we have so much to talk about and we spent 30 minutes talking about photos. So
yeah, there was a lot to get done, you know.
Chapter 42 of The Gathering Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Before the Stone of Tear. Whoa, this chapter hurt.
Yeah.
This chapter hurt me in my balls. I felt it in my testicles. Oh, this one was painful.
All right. I didn't, but that's fine.
I would be very shocked if you did.
My ovaries hurt. No,
I think that men, I think that, not men, I don't want to say that, but people with testicles, I think will understand that weird pain that you get when you have that, like, clench in your scrot. Just because, no, this isn't like a sexual thing. It's not a weird thing.
in your scrot.
There is like it's like a response that you have to, like, being very uncomfortable, and your, like, scrotum, like, tightens up and gets, like, weird because your body's like, protect that. It's when you're so uncomfortable that your body is telling you to, like, protect your groin.
Is it like putting the oath rod on your?
Yeah. It gets the skin gets a little bit tighter. Yeah.
It, like, pulls you up by the nape of the neck.
This is 1,000% a feeling that like. Yeah, it happens, and you just get used to it. But it is weird.
If you say so. Speakeasy, welcome back to the nerd table. Let's fucking go.
Can confirm this. Yeah, Speakeasy is confirming clench.
Confirming clench.
So Rand is riding through Eridomen while he's looking around, being like, "Fuck these people," but not really. He's like, I wish that I could help, but I fucking can't. Like, your political system is such a mess that I literally can't force you to have a king.
Yeah, you guys are fucked. I did my best, but I'm just gonna leave y'all.
I've just tried to leave you with a ruler, and you won't let me, so I'm out. And he knows that he's leaving these people to die, because there's the food is not growing.
All spoiled. All of it. Every piece.
No, that's not true yet. We don't know that yet.
Sorry.
Rand is leaving knowing that he hasn't left enough food for him leaving, because food isn't growing anywhere on Earth, and all of humanity should be dead at this point. The fact that anyone is alive is frankly ridiculous.
People are really good at, like, pickling. You know, they've been stocking up.
Yeah, why aren't they pickling everything?
Excuse me.
Goddamn. Although the I said I would be like, the pickling is just like the One Power. The pickling is losing its power.
The pickling is losing its power, guys. You heard it here first.
And so Rand is riding up being like, I legitimately tried, but I have to be a terrible person and leave. And it hurts, like, his emotional state. And this was the first time, and because I've been talking about this, right? Where, like, in the background of all of these scenes, for so long, they've been talking about how there's no food and how no food's growing. But when we actually talk to our characters, they're all eating. Like, it doesn't really feel like the starvation is affecting anyone that we talk to in these books.
Because all of our main characters are very important and in positions of power.
Well, but and for me, it's just been that for a lot of these books, the narrative has been talking about the lack of food, but not showing that effect of that.
Yeah.
And this was the first moment where I really felt like the narrative was influenced by this thing that they've mentioned so many times. Yeah. And the payoff of it was really nice to have, instead of it just being like, especially once the guy walks up. Because, you know, you can only keep telling me that the food isn't growing and that there is no food and everybody's starving. But nobody dies of starvation before I start to be like, this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so just by acknowledging it this way and making it so personal and emotional to our main characters, all of that past conversation about this is so much stronger, right? Yeah. It finally pays off in something that actually affects the narrative in a way that I felt emotionally connected to.
Yeah. Because we've been hearing about it for so long. And you know, we've seen people who are, like, maybe in, like, not great, like, positions, you know, fleeing, like, refugees or whatever, but this just kind of elevated it to a point where I was like, okay, this makes sense now, right? Mm-hmm. Like, these people are going to die because nothing has been growing for, like, almost a year, it seems like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the harvest was bad, then the winter's long, and then the summer, they're so fucked. I genuinely don't know where they are getting any food from.
Well, and the food is going bad too fast. Like, so on every level, there should be nothing to consume at this point. Yeah.
And now in Eridomen, there isn't any food to consume. Yeah. So that's gonna be rough. Do you think Rand, no, we'll get to that at the end.
Sean says I'd be fine if it was just new food being scarce and how it's going to be super tight relying on stocked food if crops don't grow soon. But nope, every piece of food now self-destructing works worldwide. Yeah, it's one of those things where it betrays my ability to... I can only stretch so far with it. And the food thing has stretched me a little bit in this series where I'm like, none of these armies can walk around if the food is spoiling in 2 or 3 days. Like, it isn't possible for these large groups of people to exist.
Yeah.
With the way that they keep describing food in this world. And the fact that there's nothing to scavenge because nothing is growing because of the weird winter, because of the weird summer, because of the weird... Like, it's been like a year and a half of no food growing. That there should be famine on a level where you don't have armies, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of like I'm trying to let go of it, and I'm glad the books acknowledge it in a way that was deeply emotional. And hit hard to justify what they've done in the past that has pulled me. Honestly, just it's not even that it's bad. It's just that it has pulled me out of the narrative because I'm like, this is going so far that you're making the other things happening not make sense.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
Apparently some people just found out that Tina Turner passed away this week. Yeah. Rest in peace to Tina Turner. And just an incredible, like just one of the greatest one of the greatest performers of all time.
Yeah, truly.
Song performers. Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, if you didn't know, Tina Turner did pass away, and it is terrible.
Did she write a musical?
No, they just had Tina the musical on Broadway.
Oh, okay, that's what I was confused.
I had a lot of friends in it. It was very good. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's get into so yeah, a guy walks up and is like, all the food just turned black and will make you sick. And Rand is like, well, you were all gonna die anyway. Goes through the game. Well, but really, like, he was leaving them to die. It's not any different. They're gonna die a little bit sooner than he was planning on it, but not planning on it. But then he was assuming.
Rand's like, there's nothing more that I can do here. So we get to chapter 43.
No, we get to Tyr.
Oh, sorry. We do go to Tyr, and I mean, basically, this is where he's like, we're going to Shayol Ghul. He's like, hey, those armies that you've been collecting, change of plans, actually. Last battle is happening, like, now. So, get ready. We're going to go to Shayol Ghul. It's going to be a good time.
I do like that Darlin is like, why did you make me get all these people together if we're not going to do anything? And Rand is like, can you be patient for 5 fucking seconds? We're going. I also really appreciated Rand here was like, well, I didn't tell Nynaeve and Cadsuane where I was going, but they can figure it out because I'm not going to hide anymore.
Yeah.
Which is weird because then at the end of the book, when he's going to Dragonmount, he's like, oh no, if I use as much of the one power, the Dark One and all the Forsaken are going to find me. And I was like, dude, like 5 chapters ago, you were like, I'm not hiding anymore. If they want to come for me, they can fucking come for me. I'm going to tell everybody where I am. You can come for... I'm Rand motherfucking Althor. And then 5 chapters out here, he's like, oh, if I use the access key, what if the Forsaken come to the mountaintop and fight me?
That's actually fair, because the Forsaken would know where he is. Here's the thing, I guess, like, him channeling alone maybe is, like, they don't know if he's alone, but they know if he's not in, like, a city, that it'd maybe be easier to just, like, take him out. But, it is very funny that he goes from, fuck him, let everybody know where I am, to, oh, no, gotta worry about channeling so the Forsaken can't find me. And I'm like, well, you've kind of announced where you are multiple times. So,
although I don't know if anyone else can get up to the top of that mountain, but I do like that there's a weave for climbing Everest. You know what I mean? Make it a little bit easier.
Yeah. When I was a kid, considerate.
When I was a kid, I wanted to climb Everest so bad, and then when my doctor was like, "You would die," I was like, "Well, okay."
Yeah, you need oxygen.
Yeah. No. Unfortunately, like my asthma, there's no way.
Yeah.
The air would get too thin, and I would die. My lungs could not handle it.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know you wanted to climb Everest.
When I was a kid, there was this book series. It was 9 books, and so it was 3 trilogies, and each one was about a group of kids who are in like a super dangerous adventure. One, they get their plane crashes and they're trapped on a desert island, like on a deserted island. One, they climb Everest, and one, I can't remember what the third one was. But I loved those books.
And you're like, I need to climb Everest, and your doctor's like, please don't fucking do that, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, the book, the 3 books about the kids climbing Everest were like, I read them so many times when I was a child. And what's funny is I don't remember anything about them now. Because I haven't read them since I was like 9, right?
Yeah.
But before I was, when I was like 6 to 9, I loved those books.
Yeah.
And they were short enough that I could read one in an afternoon.
Yeah. So it's just super easy to pick up. And
I wonder if I could find them. I wonder, like, because that's literally all I have to go on, and I have no idea.
I don't know.
I would love to read them again.
Be like, wow, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, in the island one, they find like an atomic bomb that was left on the island by the American military. It's wild. If anyone knows what book series I'm talking about, they're all by the same author. I don't know. Anyway,
all right, chapter 43.
But yeah, no, this chapter ends with Rand's.
He's like,
we marched to Shia Ghul.
Let's fucking go.
And then it cuts, and it shouldn't have cut. It should have gone, and Darlin died of a fucking heart attack on this pavement.
Yeah, I know, right?
Chapter 43. We start with Egwene, who is in her room just being like, I'm gonna spank Swan. I'm gonna give that girl the old bop bop. You know what I mean?
I am pissed.
She's so mad.
Oh, she's so mad. Which, you know what? I get it. What's up, Fabu? How you
Fabu
doing?
saw daddy issues and had to show up, which makes sense.
You know,
Fabu does have daddy issues.
It wasn't the title I picked, but that's fine.
Yours didn't make sense.
I know. But it was still funny.
And also, yours would have gotten an immediate demonetization.
Probably.
I couldn't. One of our videos got limited monetization because it was the Attack on Titan video. I named it "Who the F is Willy?" Just F. And it got limited monetization. I changed it to "What's Up, Willy?" and it got full monetization.
Oh my fucking
I know.
God.
It's so silly.
Fucking YouTube, Jesus Christ. We've had several book clubs demonetized because we are filthy.
Oh, apparently it's called the Everest Trilogy. By Gordon Corman. I'm going to take a photo of that, and I'm going to try and find that later.
All right. We get some Egwene stuff, and that guy,
Eggy.
this stuff is fucking
Egwene is fucking
tier.
on her shit today.
Yes.
Holy shit.
She's like, no one's allowed to see me except for Chessa, and Chessa's just like, I'm so happy that she's back. Like, she's just like living her best life, has no idea what's going on. And Egwene's kind of like meditating. She's like, all right, the fuck am I supposed to do now? It was so close.
Yeah.
So close and yet so far.
And so she pops out of her tent,
yeah.
and who is sitting on the ground outside of her tent?
It's Gareth Bryan.
It's Garrett. No, it's not. It's Gawain Trakan.
Gawain slept there.
He's just sitting there like, we gotta talk. And she's like, not now. And he's like, no. And she's like, no.
No.
And then we get what is weirdly one of the like best written female moments of the entire series.
1,000%. 1,000%. Gawain is like, look, like I need to know that you're okay, right? And he's like, he doesn't have the full picture. And he's just trying to make sure that, like, Egwene is all right. And she's, like, very good at acknowledging that Gawain believes what he did was for the best, but also is not happy that, like, everybody went against her wishes.
I want to read what I think is, like, one of my favorite back and forths. It's not really a back and forth. It's a fourth and fourth.
Fourth and fourth.
You've sacrificed, Egwene interrupted, letting a little anger show. What about what I've sacrificed to rebuild the White Tower? Sacrifices that you undermined by acting against my express wishes. Did Swan not tell you that I had forbidden a rescue? She did, he said stiffly, but we were worried about you. Well, that worry was the sacrifice I demanded, Gawain, she said exasperated. Don't you see what a distrust you have shown me? How can I trust you if you will disobey me in order to feel more comfortable?
Banger.
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 Fucking banger. Look, this is like, because this is the kind of way that I think that we need to talk about the patriarchal mindset more in terms of, yes, I understand that Gawain thinks that as a man, he needs to save Egwene.
Yes.
But in doing so, he is undermining what Egwene is supposed to think he views her as. Yeah. Right? And so I feel like there's so many men today who do this, where they, in order to elevate their view of themselves and their view of their own masculinity, they take the accomplishments of their partner away from them and do it for them in order to feel like they are being more helpful or being more a part of their relationship in the masculine way.
Yeah.
And what it does is it takes away from your partner and it diminishes them, mostly in the way that they think that you view them, right? Yeah. And there's an element of you have to show up for your partner by supporting their decisions and being there in their shadow. And I feel like a lot of men are really bad at that. Men don't want to be in their partner's shadow ever. And I think that that's a really like unhealthy mindset that leads to really like toxic relationships.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And like weirdly, I've been on the other side of it where I had a partner who could just, the biggest problem in our relationship was anytime I had any success.
Yeah.
But I love the way that like Egwene calls him down here in a way that I think is like very strangely considering who the writer is. And I don't mean this as a knock against Brandon Sanderson. I just didn't expect a white Mormon man in 2009 to write what I think is an incredibly powerful feminist series of paragraphs.
Yeah. And in simple words too. Like, like you are uncomfortable and you're going to have to be okay with that. Like you love me, Gawain. I am the Emerald Seat and you will be uncomfortable. You have to be okay with that. And I do like that Gawain here is not, like, he doesn't try and just, like, steamroll and not listen to what Egwene is saying. Gawain seems to actually, like, take things into careful consideration. He's like, we're not done talking, right? Like, we need to, I want to understand this more. But he's not like,
Gawain has a ways to go, though, because he's still basically stalks her from this point on.
Sure. I mean, he doesn't trust the Aes Sedai. He doesn't trust that she's the Emerald Seat. He's like in a world where he is very confused at what's happening. He believes that they're manipulating her. And so, like he's keeping an eye on her to make sure that like nothing bad happens to her. He's not butting it. She's like, no, you can't come into this. No, you have to stay here. Like, Egwene does draw boundaries and Gawain is like, okay, I'm going to like respect that. But like Gawain has this mindset that that you, like you said, that there's a lot of people nowadays who have a very similar thing and they feel like they need to be the one to take charge. They need to be the one to save the day and that like they need to insert themselves into someone else's successes, right? And I fucking loved this scene. It was so good. All of the Egwene stuff is so good. Father Jerusalem, welcome back to the Nerd Table. Gawain is the hero of his own story. It's just his story is not the one being told. Egwene says, everyone is the hero of their own story in a sense, right?
What's interesting is I don't actually agree with that. I don't think that Gawain is the hero of this story. I think he would like to be.
Of his own story.
But even of his own story, Gawain has not been raised to be that person. Gawain has been raised to be almost to like a toxic degree.
Yeah.
Gawain has been raised to be a side character. And his mindset is about protecting the main character. Like his whole childhood, his whole life has been about protecting the queen. Gawain doesn't see himself as the main character. He sees himself as a necessary, like, wall between the main character and any of the dangers of the world.
Yeah.
But he's ingrained that side character message into his head so deeply that he acts against the wishes of other people. And he keeps getting into these situations, right?
Yeah.
What's so interesting about Gawain is his greatest flaw is that he doesn't see himself as the hero. It's that he sees himself as a necessary sidekick to anybody in a position of power. And so because of that, he views power as being inherently good. And he ends up in these situations where he kills Hamar. He kills good people. He ends up putting Randolph in a box and transporting him across the country, right? Like so many...
he doesn't do that.
Well, he's the younglings are
he doesn't know. Like, he's not aware of these things. But yeah. He gets himself into situations.
But he knows that Rand is in that box, and he still rides the younglings with them. He's still protecting the Aes Sedai through that, right? And
I didn't know that he knew.
I mean, they take him out every night and whip. Like, everybody knows they've got Randolph in a box. It's not a surprise to anybody, right?
Well, I think he knows Rand is with them, but like the Aes Sedai are like real assholes to him. Like they like send him off. They don't let him come near. Like they're very like, go fuck yourself with Gawain and the younglings. So
yes, but
I actually don't know if they would have seen that.
He knew that Rand was there.
Yeah.
Which is enough. My point is that even in that situation where he's being disrespected and he's being put off and they're being mean to him, he is still working for them because he is so it is so ingrained in him to work for positions of power because that is like his whole job.
And that's the conversation that he has with Gareth Bryan in an earlier section where Gareth is like, you need to fucking make a choice. Mm-hmm. You can't just wait around for shit to fall into your lap or for somebody to tell you what to do. You are the person who has to be making decisions, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you can't just like shirk any kind of responsibility, right? It's really easy to let someone else make decisions for you because you don't have to take responsibility for them.
Yeah, and I think that's where like my problem with the character is because other than that, I really do like him.
Yeah.
But despite everything he's been through, he still hasn't learned the lesson of like having a little bit of critical thinking. Mm-hmm. He's still act first, defend first, be a shield, but don't be a brain. And I think that Gawain, and part of it, I think, is his inferiority complex next to Galad.
Yeah.
That pushes him to be this kind of man that I don't think he is.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Sorry to disagree with you, Father Jerusalem. I really do see him as not seeing himself as a hero. Like, he just sees himself as necessary. And that is so dangerous because people who see themselves as necessary but don't have a worldview will do the bidding of people who have bad worldviews because they don't think about what the cause or what the effect of their boss's cause is going to be. Right?
Yeah.
And that's a really dangerous way of living your life.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So we cut away from Egwene. Egwene does say like we're gonna attack the White Tower tonight. And I was like, oh, fuck, please, for the love of God, I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
No, I was a little bit worried.
Berserker says Gawain is the sort of underling every dictator dreams about. 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah. Especially one who, like, he has followers, he has charisma, like, it's dangerous. And I think that is a fault of Morghese and Gareth Bryan for giving the attention to Elaine to figure out how to rule and think critically and make decisions, and just kind of like making Gawain into a big old stick to hit Elaine's enemies with.
Christian Rapper says, in this situation, Egwene was way too hard on Gawain. I could not disagree with you more. No. I think that this was totally acceptable.
Yeah.
If you want to be in love with somebody, that sometimes means they're going to point a mirror at you and be like, hey, this is what sucks about you. That is being in a relationship. If you want real love, if you want frivolous love where you and your partner have great sex and you don't talk and you hang out with the boys and she hangs out with the girls and you don't actually like being around each other, then fine, like shit like this won't happen. But if you want to have a real relationship with someone for a long time, there's going to be times where your partner is going to call you out on your shit.
Yeah.
And I think Egwene is 1,000% correct here. And Gawain needs to hear it.
Gawain needs to hear it. This is the kind of communication that I think Brandon Sanderson is bringing to the books. Mm-hmm. Because there's that joke, right? Of like, nobody fucking communicates in the Wheel of Time. No one fucking talks to one another.
Egwene does.
Egwene is doing that. And it's wonderful. Like, she's, she tells him, she's like, Egwene the person loves you, but Egwene the Amerlin seat has to be a different person. And if you want to love me, you have to accept that, right? I can't be whatever you want me to be. I'm not going to turn myself into whatever you think is best suited for you or that you think best suits me. That's not how this works, right? And Gawain is going to have to come to terms with that if he wants to be with Egwene.
Berserker brings up, Morghese told Gawain he has to learn how to critically think for himself and not just mindlessly follow what Elaine told him to do to fulfill his duty back in Eye of the World.
Yeah.
Gawain was literally told the lesson he needed to learn 12 books ago, and he never learned it.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm convinced he's not going to. I think Gawain will die in the last battle.
I'm actually really sad because I think I've said this the whole time. I think Gawain is an incredible character because he's so real. Like, he is like, we all know this person. Mm-hmm. All of us know probably many of this kind of person. And I would love to see him have that arc that I desperately want him to have, because I want to know that there is hope for those kinds of people. Like, I don't think that Gawain is the best person to have ever lived, but like, he's so real. And I feel bad for him, because I feel like he just has not been set up. Or, you know, there is a point of it where he has chosen not to learn the lessons.
Yeah.
And I hope that we get to see that choice be made. Really, really, really.
Well, and I hope at some point, you know, Egwene is like, Galena was a Black Aja character. Like, I hope that because I think that what would snap him out of it is realizing that his mindset led him to follow so many evil people. He has done the bidding of truly evil people throughout the series because he wasn't, and really only Galena, but because he wasn't like critically thinking enough to do better, honestly.
Yeah.
We cut over to Jesse Bilal, who I had never heard of before, but sounds like a modern pop singer.
Jesse J.
Well, like, it's all of this meeting is all of these fantasy names, right? Sarancha Colvine, Swana Dragand, Farani, Adalorna Bastine, and Jesse Bilal.
Girl. Yeah. I'm like, all right.
I was just like, Jesse Bilal is just kind of like the most normal name.
Oh, Bilal got reincarnated.
Bilal?
Isn't that one of the Forsaken?
Maybe? I don't know.
Isn't that the one that Moraine fucking murked?
Was that Bilal? I don't think it was Bilal.
Well, I'm going to feel real silly if I, like... He just wasn't... He was, like, barely there. You know what I mean? Pretty sure his name was Bilal.
So we find out that everything is bad because the leaders of the Ajas were all fucking terrible.
Yes, I was right. Thank you.
Oh, Belal with an E. Yeah. Bilal fired by Moraine.
Fucking suspicious, okay?
But this is
suspicious.
Bilal. But yeah, I did like that the all of these Aes Sedai get together and are like, yo, did we majorly fuck up?
We fucked up. And they still fucking fight about it. Until one of them is like, we fucking failed.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Like, we in our quest for power and putting Aleda and trying to make her a puppet for us, we ruined the White Tower. We fucked up so hard.
Yeah.
And God, I hope that they go to Egwene and like ask for penance. You know what I mean? I hope that they're like, yeah, that was us. We fucked up. We're want to learn a fucking lesson here, because oh my god, I couldn't believe it. I honestly, to be fair, was like, yeah, it's all Aleda. Like, Aleda's just the worst. No,
it's just the Aes Sedai.
They all fucking suck.
It's the Aes Sedai in general. I granted a fifth of them are Black Aja, so like that is a part of it.
No one in this room is, though.
But no one in this room is. I did like the, like, before they, because I had a feeling I knew where the scene was going, where they were all going to be like, yo, when Egwene was in the tower, she did a pretty fucking good job.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, like, I don't know about you guys, but, like, that Egwene girl.
At least they do something right.
But I do like the section where they're like, where the white is like, I think a white should be Amerlin's seat. And then the yellow's like, but what about a yellow? And then the gray's like, but what about a gray? And then one of them goes, we're all just fucking naming people from our own Ajas. This isn't going to work.
Yeah, I know.
This scene was great. It really
Great.
pointed out, like, the, like, you know, ineptitude of these women.
And also them, like, starting to acknowledge.
But, like, how bad do you have to fuck up that, like, 500-year-old women, not 500-year-old, but 100-year-old women, all go, you know what, let's let that 20-year-old girl run shit.
Yeah, she knows better than
we do.
Like,
she's 20. Do you know how little I trust 20-year-old people?
Not a lot of
anything?
20-year-olds have been through what Egwene's been through.
That's fair.
You know what? Like, Egwene earned it. Egwene earned it.
That's questionable. I think Egwene...
I don't know if she earned it the first time that she was raised by the Salad Barbarians, but I think she fucking earned this one. She showed exactly what kind of Amerlin she's going to be, and like, people adore her. Like, she impressed she impressed the whites with her logic. You know, like, the yellows wanted to recruit her to their Aja. Like, she fucking earned this one. I don't care.
Yeah. And I think that Egwene has done a really good job under pressure. The question that I have about Egwene's leadership is longevity and endurance, right?
Yeah.
When it isn't a constant pressure cooker, how do you run things day to day? Because that's where these jobs get hard, right? Like the running things in the element that you have to, because you're in a very she's been a very good Amerlin from a perspective that I think is a lot easier than the long term I think the next version of what she has to do is so much harder than the last version of what she had to do.
Fair.
And so I don't doubt her. Like, I'm excited to see what she does. But I do think that like her age is a limiting factor in in the next phase of this work, right?
Yeah, and that's why I also think choosing Sylviana as her keeper
was brilliant. That was the best. Yeah, we'll get to it. Let's keep moving on, and we'll get to that scene because I think it's brilliant.
So Swan is...
we cut to Swan and Gareth are so fucking horny.
Yeah, even Egwene is like, wait, you took a water. Hot. Have you fucked yet?
But before that, Swan is like standing outside. Egwene is in the hall talking, and Gareth walks up behind her, and they kind of like flirt a little bit, and then Swan is like, well, like, what's your second demand? And he's like, I'm gonna demand that you marry me. And I was like, well, you could ask. But then he's like, but not until after your other mission is done and the world is saved. And I was like, oh shit, like he knows her so well. Gareth Bryne should be the fucking, like, idol for Gawain to learn from. Well, because what I like about it is that he shows the opposite of what Gawain does to Egwene.
Yeah.
Which is, he says, I'm going to demand that you marry me, which is, like, which could be gross.
I think they're trying to make it, like, hot,
But it is because the follow-up is about Gareth Bryne telling Swan that he understands her and he listens to her.
Yeah.
Right? He does say, I'm going to demand that you marry me. But then he follows that up with, and I've been paying attention to what you are.
Yeah.
I know you intimately.
Yeah.
And I know that we cannot do what I want until we finish doing what you want.
Yeah.
And I will stand by your side. And I'm hoping, because he even like he just chuckles when she's like, well, I'll take your demand under consideration. Right? Like I think he acknowledges that element of it. But also, by telling her, I listen to you, that's hot.
Yeah.
That's sexy right there.
Yeah. There's, like, communication is very sexy, guys. This is the smut corner that we all needed. It's just fucking communication and consent. Like, I'm like, these are the things that get me going. I think that it was so well done, and put back to back with Gawain was like very clearly trying to like point out the differences between the characters.
Well, and I'm just kind of like, Gareth, like you basically raised Gawain. Like, where did you go wrong? You clearly know what's up, dude. How did you not pass that on to what is essentially your son? You know what I mean? Like, he's Gawain's stepdad, essentially. I know him and Morgase never actually got married, but for all of Gawain's life in the castle, well, no, because I guess Tom was there for a while, right?
Was there for a bit,
But after Tom left, he's basically stepdad. He taught the guy how to use a sword. He should have taught him how to treat a woman, because Gareth Bryne fucking gets it.
He knows.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they need to have sex, though. I swear to God. They need to move into the blue, get Swan a room in the blue quarters, and they need to just fucking go for it, because Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They're just so horny. It's crazy how horny they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's like dripping.
Yeah, you love to see it.
Out of the pages. We cut over to Egwene. She's with the sitters. And this scene was so fucking good. Oh my God.
Every part of Egwene's, it's all so fucking good. Like, every time I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. Like,
Egwene is like, sup, bitches? I'm back. Got the oath rod. She says the oaths, and you're like,
guess who's back?
Oh, no. Well, okay. Well, you said the oaths, so I guess we're keeping the oaths. But then she's like, so, Shariam? Yeah. Dark friend. And Shariam's like, the fuck?
No, well, technically, Shariam fucking seizes the power to try and fucking attack her, and Egwene is like, not today, bitch.
This scene's it's so good, because she's like, we're all going to undo our oaths, and then we're going to redo our oaths and promise that we are... So apparently the oath rod can undo the Dark One's oaths.
Yeah, the oaths, like, yeah.
I would love if Demandred ended up being like, yo, can I have that oath rod? Now, because now that there's no taint on Sidin, if Demandred was like, I don't need the dark one, I can channel without him, and Demandred's just like, I don't want to be fucking evil. Let's fight Moradin together.
I don't want to be evil.
You know what I mean? Like, it would be interesting for one of the Forsaken, Asmodean kind of did, but for one of the Forsaken to kind of like, if Masana gets murked, and Demandred is like, what's the fucking point? Like, the dark one is not the right path. I think that would be interesting. It would be kind of fun to have one of them turn away from him of their own accord rather than being forced like Asmodean was by Liandrin.
Yeah, we know that the Forsaken, above all, are motivated by selfishness, and so if it looks like it's turning one way,
but this was such a brilliant. It's so good for so many reasons, right? The first of which is that Egwene shows so much power in this room.
Yeah.
By speaking of the things that are unspoken.
Yeah.
There is a serious like there's a real power imbalance in a group that has a topic they don't want discussed at all.
Yes.
In that if you are the person who can comfortably bring it up, you hold sway over the topic itself. Because you're the only one who's willing to put words to it.
I know we use this comparison a lot because it's a cultural touchstone for a lot of people, but it's like there are certain people who can say Voldemort.
Yeah.
And who refuse to, and like they gave the Black Aja so much power by just pretending it didn't exist, by never naming it, by never calling it out. It's like there's a fucking mold spot on the wall, and if you turn a blind eye to it, it's just going to get bigger.
Yeah.
You have to fucking take care of the problem.
Well, and I honestly, even without the Oath Rod solution, which is brilliant because it just cleanses the tower.
Yeah.
Even without that, just Egwene just being willing to talk about the Black Aja would have done more damage to the Black Aja than anything else, right? If they didn't have this easy solution, just being able to speak to it.
Pavara and them were able to actually make some fucking headway.
Yeah, it's because you just have to be comfortable, like, not hiding behind the fear of the word, right? It's so good.
Yeah.
So Egwene re-swears her oaths. She's like, I'm not a dark friend. And then the minds of Moria collapse. They freak the fuck out, grab the source, try and flee.
Yeah.
Nah, there's sitters in this room. They got one power.
There's people trying to sprint out of the room, and they're like, fuck no.
It's just Moria and
it's just the two at first.
Because it's just the sitters.
Right, the two at first, and then later
so
on.
So Egwene is like, all right, so we're gonna do this to everybody. And we don't see
Ramonda,
that.
would you like to go first?
Yeah,
she's
and Ramonda's like, yeah, of course.
Yes, absolutely. And Elena's like, okay, well, me next.
I love the all of the women are like, I don't want to, not because I'm Black Aja, but because it's like a year of feeling a little bit tight in your skin. And like, you know what I mean? Because they're like, it takes about a year for that to go away. And so for 1 year, all of the Aes Sedai are just walking around a little hinky. You know what I mean? They're all a little bit like, oh God, I can't wait for this year to be over so I can feel like myself again.
Yeah. Colonel Sanders asks why they didn't always ask women if the woman was a dark friend as soon as US were sworn. We actually know that most of the Black Aja were already recruited after being Aes Sedai.
That's not true.
Yeah, that was mentioned.
No, Liandrin was recruited as an accepted.
There's a few exceptions for sure, but most of them, they don't bother with them until they're full Aes Sedai and they have that power. That was mentioned. I'm 99.9% certain that when they recruit Black Aja, they don't give a shit about
I don't think that's a hard and fast rule. Because there are a lot of women who like.
It's not a rule.
There are a lot of women who come to the tower as dark friends.
There are a few, yes. But in Varen's notes, it does say that like most of the people are recruited once they are already once they're already Aes Sedai, which makes sense because if that was part of the ceremony, it's like, are you a dark friend? You know, like that would be pretty beneficial. I don't think anybody did that, but I don't think it would have been that effective because we know that the Black Aja generally have the oaths and break them with the Dark One's oaths. They don't make those oaths beforehand. So Sir
Jimris has the point though that I think is the pushback on that, which is they didn't even acknowledge the existence of Black Aja. Why would they ask? Right?
Yeah.
Which I think is fair. I'm surprised they don't ask of everyone coming into the tower, Right? Because, like, you wouldn't know if that 10-year-old girl was a dark friend. Although, why would you assume a 10-year-old is a dark friend, right? Like, that's kind of crazy.
Because a lot of them are recruited as children. They like to indoctrinate children.
But yeah, no, I think the element of this where Egwene, you know, really struggles with the fact that she has to have basically 100 women executed. 120 women.
80?
No, 80 escape. 80 total escape.
What? No, I thought it was
80 of the 200 women escape, but between both sides, right? Once she's in the tower, so essentially, like, Egwene has about 120 women executed in 7 hours, and the
stilling them first just kind of seems cruel, but that's just me.
Yeah, I didn't understand it.
Because it's tradition. That's all. The tradition is for dark friends
and
to
maybe
be
by stilling them and then killing them, the Dark One can't bring them back with the one power. Like, maybe it's tradition for a reason.
I don't think the Dark One cares enough about dark friends.
Well, like, you have to be a Forsaken. No, if he can bring 100 dreadlords to the final battle, he's gonna bring 100 dreadlords to the last battle. If it's within his power, why wouldn't he?
I don't know if any of them were dreadlords, but we don't really have
but they could be in the future, right? Like,
I wonder. Yeah,
there's never been any cost or any, like, limitations put on what. The only limitation we know of the Dark One's ability to bring people back is Balefire. So if the Dark One doesn't, if they're not Balefired, which they probably should have been, but, you know, obviously Balefire is illegal. The Dark One could just bring them all back. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, he only seems to bring Forsaken back, but, like, based on what we know, it's
But we haven't seen a lot of Black Aja die.
No.
Like, even the Black Aja who are, like, trapped or have escaped, like, there aren't a lot of Black Aja that are dead. Right?
Yeah.
And we don't know who's with Moradin.
Yeah.
So we don't know yet, right? Like, it could be...
Yeah, I guess it's probably possible. I don't know. The logistics of it just might, like, not be worth it. I don't know. Maybe he does bring them back.
Yeah.
Who knows? I think, like, I mean, you would need bodies, but
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. Getting bodies, not hard.
Oh my god.
What? They have fucking magic.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're right.
Moradin can go find 100 bodies in a day.
Sure. Trolloc raids also, like, if they don't eat them first.
You don't need Trollocs. Moradin by himself can walk into any town and go, whoop, and then walk out a fucking gateway back to fucking Shio Ghul. It's not like that's not a limitation. These people have insane levels of magic.
Moradin drives up with a carriage. It's like free food inside. He just piles them in and then takes them to Shio Ghul.
Literally, it would be so easy.
Yeah.
I got a body guy.
God damn it.
Yeah, I do. One of the things about this whole section that I really liked was the emphasis that the stronger channelers got away. So clearly the Black Aja structure knew who they needed to save first, and they couldn't get to everyone in time. And I liked that element of it. I thought it was smart.
And also, like...
And the weaker ones can't travel.
I think it proves that, like, Varen wasn't able to get some people because people were warned and were able to flee, right? So there's definitely a couple of people in there who were able to get the word out, and it is unfortunate. And maybe it just is Masana. Who knows? But, yeah, there's definitely some people that got missed. Arazu, thank you for the super chat.
I think the bodies need to have channeling capacity. I don't think that that's true. And the reason why I don't think that that's true is because when the Dark One puts Agenor in a female body, he is able to channel the Saidin, right? And so if the reincarnation process involved the body's inherent ability to channel, then Agenor would have been channeling Saidar.
Right.
But because of because it was just about putting a male soul in a female body and the male soul can still channel the male half of the power, I don't think the body being able to channel matters.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
If it weren't for that one, I would say maybe like the body has to have, maybe there's some element of that, but because of that, I can't imagine I just can't imagine it working any other way, honestly.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also just don't think I just don't think the body has anything to do with channeling, right?
It
I know
doesn't
that Chad is
seem
saying
to.
it's all about the soul, but I think it's more than that. Like I think like I don't think
Could you imagine if the more yoked you get, the more power you could hold? It's just a bunch of fucking Arnold Schwarzeneggers
you have to get
walking around.
spiritually yoked.
Spiritually
Yeah.
yoked. You guys heard it here first.
Yeah.
Spiritually yoked.
So yeah, I don't know. Where
Yeah, they catch a bunch of Black Aja. It's definitely a win. You know, they didn't get them all, but a win is a win is a win. So.
And Ramonda is the one that says, let's follow Egwene's plan to attack the White Tower, not Lelaine, even though Lelaine has become...
Lelaine is very upset that Egwene is back, but
Yeah.
she's trying not to let it show.
Because she has to work for her, because it's the only way to justify her actions over the last little bit.
Exactly.
Chapter 44. We need to get moving. Holy shit.
Oopsie.
This is going to be a long book club, y'all.
Yeah.
This is a big section. Secrets. Or no, wow, I am so fucking dyslexic.
Sense unknown.
Jesus
Sense.
Christ.
It's fine. We got there eventually.
I'm like, guys, why do I have a book club? I can't read.
Because it's more fun that way.
Rand and Nynaeve have a big argument about Lan.
Yep.
In which
Rand is going to sacrifice Lan. He's going to be like, yep, his death is going to help me out, so that's real nice. Thanks
he's
to
not
Lan.
sacrificing Lan.
Basically.
He's letting Lan do what Lan wanted to fucking do. If Lan didn't want to die in Tarwin's Gap, he shouldn't have gone there by himself in the night.
He's just
you
saying
know
he's
what I
not
mean?
going to help save him.
Like, yeah, but Nynaeve here is being...
Nynaeve loves him.
I know that. But I think that she's being slightly unreasonable because of it, in that Lan made a choice.
Yeah.
And like the Lan's actions, her expectation that Rand is going to change his entire plan and his move his entire army because of what Lan chose to do is not totally fair to Rand.
Yeah.
No, Wheel of Time says she's being the exact same as Gawain. I agree with that, right?
Yeah. She loves Lan, and they've barely spent any time together. She's not ready for him to die, right?
And like I love Lan as a character. I think, he's one of my favorites in the show. A little bit less in the books. I think that there are some characters, just because I don't think Lan is given as much to do in the books.
Yeah.
And there are other characters who have had a little bit more arc.
Books, yeah.
But Lan, I love Lan, but at the same time, I'm like, Lan knew what he was doing, and he made a very specific decision.
Yeah.
And Nynaeve, I understand, like, Nynaeve loves him and wants to move the world for him, but Rand cannot... Rand can't just allow any time any of his generals make any decision, pivot the whole army to go fix that and to save one man. And like, it's tough because I want Lan to survive, guys. This isn't me being like, Lan should die. That's not what I'm saying at all. I am just saying that, like, this is one of those times where I'm like, Nynaeve, you're giving bad advice and you're undermining your position as an advisor because you're acting from such an emotional place right now.
Yeah.
And I understand we want Rand to be a little bit more emotional.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if how the book ends is going to push him to help Lan.
Maybe.
But yeah, this was just a frustrating scene for me because I was like, Nynaeve, like, this is what Lan chose. This isn't... Rand did not put... Because he's not sacrificing Lan. Rand did not send Lan on this mission. This wasn't Rand's decision. This wasn't what Rand wanted. None of this was Rand's choice.
He's just using Lan's choice to his best advantage.
Yeah, like this was Lan's idea. Granted, Nynaeve changed it so that he was pushed back a little bit time-wise.
Yes.
Which I think is smart, honestly. I don't think Lan dying by himself in a field in the Blight helps anybody.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was a little bit frustrated with Nynaeve here because I was like, Rand didn't do any of this, and I understand you want to save your husband. I totally get that, and it's admirable. Yeah. But like to put this on Rand is
Nynaeve is definitely I'm gonna say I think Nynaeve is the most emotional character in the books.
The books keep saying that, so there were so many times in this section in particular where they're like, the Aes Sedai are also calm, except Nynaeve, who cannot keep her shit together.
Can't do it. But I think that makes her an interesting advisor for Rand, especially in his current state. I think the dynamic between them is really interesting because it brings out these discussions. I agree. I don't think that she's thinking with logic. She's definitely emotional, but it made sense to me. And so Rand is going to go meet with the Borderlanders, and he shows up, and the Aiel are like, wow, they have much honor. And Rand is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, they sent one dude. And Rand is like, are you fucking kidding me? And guess who the dude is?
Huron's back.
Huron's back. Let's go.
And Rand smells weird.
Yeah, that's not surprising at
It's
all.
the balefire, right?
Probably.
The balefire is the only violence that Huron has never smelled before that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And so it must just be that Rand reeks of his actions against Greyndall's palace.
Yeah.
Which is interesting,
probably.
right? Like, I do like that there is, like, a lingering element of that.
Yep. Yeah, really interesting. I was like, oh, Huron. And then I felt so bad for Huron because Rand has no reaction. He fucking kind of, like, attacks him, like, holds him with air. And I was like, oh, no.
Well, because Rand is like, oh, they sent you because of our personal connection.
Yeah.
And Huron's like, yes, that is why they did that. And Rand is like, people need to stop fucking manipulating me, which we'll get to. Trust me, that comes back. But Rand is right? Like, using someone...
Okay, not in this... later on, yes, not in this scenario. If you have someone who knows the person you're about to meet with, you soften the blow by having them meet with someone that they know first.
If you're meeting in good faith. But the Borderlanders do not want to meet Rand in good faith. They want to meet Rand in the one situation where he is at his most disadvantaged.
They're scared of him.
And fair. But Rand also offered them a fair deal. You get 4 channelers, I get 4 channelers. And their response was no channelers. And Rand is going, the entire world wants to kill me. I'm not going to a place where I cannot fight Trolloc safely because I have one hand now.
Yeah.
Rand is, even in formatting, Rand is not just down in that he can't channel there.
Yeah.
Rand is also diminished in the fact that he hasn't had time to get his sword ability back with one hand. And so they're not meeting him in good faith.
Yeah.
And like, yes, look, is Rand more powerful than any 4 channelers they can send? Probably, right? Especially with the access key.
Yeah.
But they are using Huron to try and get Rand to meet them in bad faith. Not using Huron to set up a good faith meeting. Those are not the same thing.
I just mean that the decision to send her in by itself, I think, is the most logical.
But I don't think that it is given given what their goal with him is.
Sure, but
they're
if they sent any
Huron,
random dude to be like, yeah, we're meeting in Farmatting, it wouldn't have mattered.
But the reason why that works is because it is a manipulation. You're arguing, your argument is that, yes, they did the right thing because they wanted to manipulate Rand.
It doesn't seem like a manipulation. It seems like a peace offering to me.
It's not a peace offering
Rand
because...
is the one who sees everything as a manipulation.
No, they are using someone that he knows to get him to be more comfortable so that they can get him into a position where he is disadvantaged. That is textbook manipulation. They want to get him to come to Farmatting, and so they are using the one person that he has a previous connection to so that they can get him into a place where he is in more danger.
Yes,
that is manipulative.
I'm just saying that the decision to send Huron, regardless of like the Farmatting stuff, like if
but
I
you
was
can't
looking,
regardless of the formatting stuff, because if it isn't for the formatting stuff, they don't need to send someone that Rand knows because they will meet him in good faith.
But they should still send someone that Rand knows. If they
should send their whole contingent to meet him at the crossroads.
Huron should be part of it.
Sure. Have Huron be there. But sending Huron by himself is the reason they do it is not because of any good intentions in their heart. It is purely a manipulation to get Rand into Farmatting. Is it manipulation
though, or is it just diplomacy?
No, it is, in this case, it is manipulation. Diplomacy is meeting Rand on the terms that you agreed to and having a conversation in good faith. Using Rand's friend to get him into a position where he is in danger is not diplomacy. That is manipulation. It is textbook manipulation. This whole thing is manipulative.
Yeah,
you don't see manipulation in a lot of this, and I find that really interesting. Like we had this same argument last week about Cadsuane. And then we get to what her plan is, and it is so deeply gross and manipulative. And like you keep being like these things aren't manipulation, and they are. Like they are. Their only intention is manipulation. And so I'm curious, like, how do you not see this as manipulation? Because I feel like we're not on the same wavelength on this, and I find that really interesting because it's so cut and dry to me.
You know, I think it explains why a lot of people are taking advantage of me in my life. Because...
well, fuck, this just going.
Like I said, I don't really know. I don't know. I'm like... I like seeing...
I'm sorry, Chad. I didn't realize we were cracking an egg here.
Michael Kioski, thank you for that.
Are you okay?
Chat. Yeah, I'm good. What?
Your eyes are watering. Are you okay? I didn't mean to like. I'm not trying to make this personal. I'm not.
No, I'm good, guys.
Sure?
I'm good. I'm like coming to some revelations live on stream. You know what I mean? But like, I'm okay. Yeah. You want to read Michael Kioski's
Michael
super
Kioski,
chat?
this message is me manipulating Nerdy into reading your message. Yes, it is. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that.
Yes.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Should we end the book club?
Yeah. Bye, guys. Gonna have to.
Someone called the Pink Aja.
Oh my God, James Ross, thank you for the super chat.
Super chat. Therapy time.
You know what? Like honestly, like a little bit, like because that's not how I view it. That is not like my first instinct. I'm like, oh, I feel like they're trying to like send somebody that's familiar to like ease into the situation, right? And yeah, I don't know. I
think that if the
can't
situation,
tell if people are trying to manipulate me, so.
I think that if you're trying to ease someone into a situation where you hold power over them, you are manipulating them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what they're doing here.
Yeah.
And so I just think that, or you're trying to manipulate, if you're trying to ease someone into a situation that takes away their power, that is almost 100% of the time manipulation on some level.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I understand it. It's just reading this that wasn't.
And I'm not trying to say that like it's just interesting that with this and the Cadsuane situation that you've been very much against the idea that it's manipulative.
Yeah, well, you've met my ex. So, anyways.
Joe White, thank you for that super chat. Kieran is an analog of the guy Rand sent to Graendal. I don't remember his name.
Ram Shalon?
Ram Salon. I don't see it that way. I think it's kind of the opposite of that, right?
It was that felt more like a test to be like whether or not something worked or didn't work.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to use Huron to see if Rand is still alive or not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Wheel of Time. People are saying that's politics. Like, politics aren't all lies and manipulations. Guys, politics are all lies and manipulations.
I mean, yeah, that's
if this is where you're learning it, I'm so sorry. But politicians aren't your friends.
No.
They're generally not good people on either side of the aisle. There's a few.
It's hard to find the good ones.
Katie Porter's great. But, it's mostly manipulation.
Yeah. It's really funny. I think a lot of people who watch our reactions think that we always agree on everything and that we see the world in the exact same way. But we don't. We don't. There's a lot of moments, and I think book club especially highlights them because we go into so many deep dives about just a vast array of topics. But yeah, I think that you and I just have different worldviews in that sense.
Well, and I'm a pessimist.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, my worldview is nihilistic, right? Like,
I'm a nihilist, but I'm not a pessimist.
I don't even think you're really a nihilist. I think you're much more optimistic than I am.
I mean,
general,
I don't
right?
think that there's any hope for our world. That seems
fair.
pretty nihilistic. But, like, in terms of, like, human beings, I do hope to believe the best in people.
Whereas I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah, you really want everyone to be great.
I would like that.
And I just don't give people the chance.
Twitter has really ruined that illusion for me.
Yeah.
I used to believe that there were a handful of shitty people in the world, and Twitter has proven me wrong. Watching Attack on Titan is proving me wrong, actually, because wow, that brought some people out of the woodworks. But I am average height, Fabu.
Yeah.
If you Google the average height of North American women, it's me. It's just a photo of me. Average. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting that this conversation keeps coming up because it's definitely a huge theme of this book in particular, but definitely the series. Yeah. All right, now that my therapy session is over.
All right, let's get into so Rand does go to formatting.
Yeah.
Through a very cool trick. Let's talk about the trick. because this is such a fucking cheat code. And Brandon Sanderson was like, oh my God, Robert Jordan fucked up. And Brandon Sanderson might have invented part of this because I've never heard it said before that if you travel somewhere, you know it well enough to travel from there.
So it's different for men and women, right? Men have to know where they are traveling from.
No, both sides have to know where they're traveling from.
What? No.
Yes. Everybody has that is the same on both sides. You have to know the place that you are traveling from on both sides of the power.
Wait, what? No.
Yeah.
No, because they have the opposite way of traveling.
No.
Oh my fucking God, Father Jerusalem. No, I thought that, like, because Rand needs to, like, learn the spot that he's in, but, like, the women don't. Like, Elaine doesn't need to do that.
Yes, she does. You need to know where you're traveling from, and you need to know where you're skimming to, and those are different.
No, I'm not talking about skimming.
But that's the difference. It's the same for both sides of the power.
Rand Talmor, thank you for that super chat. Yeah, Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson excels at simple magic using cool ways. Yeah, so what Rand does is he skims to a place he knows.
Uh-huh.
Or no, he travels a short distance, which you don't need to know where you're coming from to do that. But when you travel to a place nearby, it lets you, apparently traveling to a place lets you know that place well enough that you can travel anywhere from there. So Rand essentially makes the concept of needing to know where you are to travel obsolete.
Yeah, because as long as you just do a little tiny hop to a place that you know, or to a place you know, you then automatically know it well enough to be able to travel anywhere. I'm not gonna lie, this was a little confusing to me.
I fucking loved it.
I think it was confusing because I thought that the men and women, it worked differently. But
I love when you set up the rules of a magic system and have a character not suddenly have... This is the difference between what some of the Wonder Girls shit is that I don't like. Mm-hmm. That's just so convenient of them just like suddenly being great at things. Versus setting up what the rules of the world are, how the magic works, and then have your character look at the rules and be like, oh, hey, there's a loophole. Yeah. That totally makes sense within the limitations of what the rules set up, right? This is the kind of magic shit that I love because you've told me the limitations of this thing, and then you've had a character use those limitations to become more powerful, right? And that makes them seem brilliant. Yeah. Also, I do like a lot, like when we're...
Fine's like, this technique is viewed 2 spell slots to burn.
Yeah, right? But that's a good point. And I just...
True, if you're not powerful enough to really make a gateway, then making another one, that's going to be tough for you.
This is my favorite kind of Dungeons and Dragons moment. Mm-hmm. When a player looks at a DM and goes, hey, this is how this spell works, and this is how this spell works, and technically I can quicken spell and use them together. Can I do this thing? And the DM goes...
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, I can't logically think of a reason why that wouldn't work. Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. And like, maybe it's Age of Legends knowledge and whatever, but like for me, reading this moment was like a fucking breath of fresh air in terms of the weave system of the Wheel of Time. Yeah. Having a character hack it and not just get better because they figured it out somehow.
Yeah, they leveled up.
A lot of the magic in this world is like, and then Egwene figured out how to make Quendalar off page, and you're like, I guess she did. Mm-hmm. Cool. Great. And then that never comes back, right? Like, Egwene figured out how to make Quendalar, and they made the 2 things Quendalar, and then they're like, probably selling Quendalar. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they are selling. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but
the economy hack.
Blue. Thank you for gifting 10 membos.
Thank you.
Moose, our mod, got a membo.
Let's go. Thank you for funding my therapy session.
Blue, what's up?
I really appreciate that.
My therapy session. I just loved, I like sincerely loved Nynaeve going, that how did he figure that out?
How did I not? Yeah. Purple Aja, thank you as well for that super chat.
Still catching up, but just want to say I support your decision to give Memory of Light the time it needs. Thank you. It's worth the wait. Excited for 7 more months of Wheel of Time. Us too. I love this series. Yeah. This book, it's crazy. Yeah. Pre-Gathering Storm, guys, I was a little like, even the end of Knife of Dreams, which I did like, but I didn't love. Yeah. I was just kind of like, I don't know if I like the Wheel of Time. And it was hard because I love those 6 books so much. And then this book to me is it's so good. I'm like, right now, I want to do Wheel of Time forever. We're doing a reread. Right? And I'm like, we're skipping 5 books.
Yeah, move a little. Yeah, we might go through that a little faster. But like, look at
man.
Lord of Chaos. We were like, we're getting fucking Wheel of Time tattoos.
we did say that.
And in the middle of this log, I was kind of like, ooh, you know what? I don't know about that. And now I'm back on board again. So we'll have to let Monkey know. Because
I don't know if I'm going to get a tattoo.
I don't know either.
After my experience on the TV show.
Oh, of having to get yours covered up?
Yeah, I think that, like, right now...
get it somewhere more private.
Not if I'm going to be fully nude on TV in the future.
Or I was going to say, if you do a bunch of nude rolls and whatever.
But yeah, I think taking time with Memory of Light's going to be good. I want to savor that book, and I don't want to rush it for the show.
Yeah.
1000%. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
And honestly, like, I'm so excited to talk about the show each week with y'all. I remember when the first show was coming out, like, we had such a good time. Those book clubs were wild and fun. And now we'll be able to have book knowledge to have more fun with those show talks.
We're going to have
I'm so excited.
A different perspective, and I'm really excited to break down our season 1 views with our now knowledge and then going into season 2. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. So thank you guys for being on board.
Finey says, always read the whole series before getting a tattoo. If you tattoo ravens on your shoulders, you become Tuon's property. That
Fair.
is...
You know what?
That is true.
Fair. Bizd, thank you for that super chat.
Low-key, Brandon is better than Jordan, but low-key, all right. That is a totally valid opinion to have, I think.
Yeah, I think that each one definitely
Backside
has...
of the balls.
The taint, actually. You're going to get the taint tattooed on your taint.
A Wheel of Time circumcision. I can't get circumcised again. What would they cut off?
I was like, why? Where did you get that
Joe
from?
White said Wheel of Time circumcision.
Chat, god damn it. Just tattoo Ishamael's face on the taint. So you like can play peekaboo with it.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
You're welcome.
So you can play peekaboo. Why would you say that?
Because of this. Peekaboosamon! Oh my god!
Oh my god, I hate you right now. I hate you.
You're very welcome. Oh man.
Oh fuck. In
You're
tier,
welcome.
Nynaeve is going to talk with Cadsuane. She's like, yo, Cadsuane, here's what's up. Cadsuane is the fucking worst. Oh, I have a screenshot of one of my favorite things that was
Another
said.
screenshot? We love it.
Her mind turned back to Lan. She had to do something, but Rand wasn't seeing sense. That left only Cadsuane's mysterious plan. Fool woman, refusing to explain it. Nynaeve had made the first step, offering an alliance, and how had Cadsuane reacted? With presumptuous arrogance, of course. How dare she welcome Nynaeve into her little group of Aes Sedai like a child who had been wandering in the woods. Yeah. So Cadsuane is, again, the fucking worst here.
Yeah, honestly, like, I can't even really defend Cadsuane anymore.
Yeah. I like this shirt feels so justified. But while they're with the Borderlanders, Nynaeve is pressing Rand about Perrin, and eventually Rand reveals that he knows where Perrin is. And Nynaeve's like, how? And he's like, I won't say, because I don't know how to explain to you that colors swirl in my head, and then I see visions of them.
Which is fair,
right? It's personal. Yeah. So Nynaeve goes back to Cadsuane and Tyr and is like, yo, I figured out where Perrin is. And she's like, all right, tell me. And she's like, well, no, but first I want to know why. And Cadsuane is like, no, you don't deserve that, even though you're the only one succeeding, because I am a failure. I fucking hate this woman. And I hate her so much more after this section, and we will get to it.
Yep.
But, like, I don't know
that's fair.
that Cadsuane can ever be redeemed in my eyes. She is vile. And I kind of hate that her plan works, but we'll get to that later.
I know. I'm yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Nynaeve, so they have a really interesting conversation, where Nynaeve learns a lesson that is so fascinating, where she watches she's like really just taking in the fear in the room at what's going on. And she realizes that she can be the bigger person, and that making demands like Cadsuane is, it's not so much in the text, but I really got this vibe that Nynaeve kind of is like, I'm not giving up, I'm being a team player. and she chooses to be a team player.
Right.
In a way that Cadsuane is not.
Yeah.
And I really like that she makes that choice, and she reveals the information. She doesn't wait for Cadsuane to give her anything.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? Fuck it. This is where Perrin is. I'm on the board. I'm on the team. If you want to be on the team with me, let's go.
Yeah.
If you want to come join the good guys, Cadsuane, if you want to come do this, I'm going to put my cards on the table because I'm tired of this pettiness.
Yep.
And honestly, I thought this was, considering I was frustrated with Nynaeve earlier in the reading this week, getting to see this moment with her, I think is... It gave me so much hope for Nynaeve and so much appreciation for like the way in which she changes throughout the series and grows, because she's a character who's willing to learn.
We have scenes with Nynaeve, especially with Matt, where she absolutely refuses to concede in any way, shape, or form about anything.
Yeah.
And in this moment, she realizes that maybe that's not always the best tactic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that Cadsuane, by being terrible, is teaching Nynaeve how to be a better kind of Aes Sedai.
Yeah. Yup.
And I love it. I really I think Nynaeve in the scene, as much as I hate Cadsuane and Nynaeve in the scene, going back to my complaints about earlier, like this is the version of Nynaeve that I love so much.
100%. We also get a really cool moment where Corell, I think, is like, oh yeah, we're gonna win the last battle because Min is having these visions, and Min is like, no, you fucking idiot, that's not how this works. If there's no pattern, then these visions don't, like, are you stupid? And Corell is like,
yeah, it's dark.
The amount of sniffing in this fucking in these books, I'm like, y'all.
Well, they all did cocaine in the 80s.
Yeah,
so,
clearly. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I did like that, though, because it does set up that the stakes are that the prophecies can only happen if the pattern is still there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 1000%. Light Blinded Fool, welcome back to the nerd table.
Wait, hold up. Are we just going to gloss over Nynaeve noticing the Stone of Tears still has a man-sized hole?
Sorry, we didn't want to derail the entire book club. But yeah, how do you feel about that one?
Why haven't they fixed it?
It's been
like a year. Get your shit together, darling.
Isn't the stone made by, like, magic? Like, I don't even know if they know how to fix it.
No, there's no magic-made buildings in the world, right? They're made by Ogier.
No, there's a bunch of buildings that are, like, either mysteriously there from the Age of Legends. They don't know how they were made.
Oh, the Age of Legends one, yeah, but the Stone of
Tyr
was built after the Age of Legends. The Stone of Tyr was built after the
Well, the Ogier are all fucking busy, okay?
Okay. Bizdy, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you.
Egwene treats Rand how Gawain treats Egwene. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Egwene treats Rand how Gawain treats Egwene. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The difference is that Egwene isn't in love with Rand anymore. And so, like, I think that, like, there's a less personal element to the relationship that makes it a little bit more tolerable.
Yeah. But also,
I think it's worse when you're doing that to the person you say you love.
I also think that Rand had some of the characteristics that Gawain had early on in the book of feeling the need to have to save Egwene.
Tyr was built by Chandlers. You're right. I'm wrong.
Oh, I am right. Yeah. Nailed it. Yeah,
interesting. I forgot that.
I just thought that maybe they didn't know how to fix it when I read it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like they don't know.
I just assumed Darlin was a lazy piece of shit.
It's actually a monument. It's actually a monument.
Don't mock my spelling. I read the audiobooks, lol.
Oh no, it was just the Q. I think.
It was the Q's that threw me off. Yeah. It wasn't the spelling. It was just the Q's.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
Or does that how G's appear?
Oh, maybe in the super chat it cuts off the little tail.
No. Yeah, it was just the Q's that threw me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, what were we just talking about? Nynaeve isn't looking for Perrin. It's someone with Perrin.
Yes.
Who did you think that was? Did you immediately go to Tam?
No.
I didn't either. I thought it was going to be Morghese. For some reason, I don't know why. For some reason I was like, oh, like we're finally going to have, Cadsuane's going to have known that it was Morghese the whole time.
Which I don't know how that would have fucking worked, to be honest. But I can't believe I didn't think about Tam. Like, I'm actually like, how the fuck did I? Because I was sitting there and I was like, who the fuck could it be? Like, I thought it was going to be some like random person. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't.
And Will says, I have a cabinet in my kitchen that I haven't fixed after a year.
It's fine. I understand. We've all been there.
You fix the hole you fix your cabinet.
Do it. Just do it.
What you doing?
Chapter 45, The Tower Stands.
Good chapter.
Good fucking chapter.
Chapter 46.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
Egwene.
Wow.
Egwene is like, all right, let's go to war, kids.
We'll go
Saddle up. They had a really rough day yesterday. We're burning this shit to the ground.
Yeah, she's wearing a really nice red dress, for the occasion. Red incites violence.
No, red is, this was cool.
No,
I really
cool.
appreciated Egwene being like, look, I need, like, she's so smart. Brandon Sanderson writes Egwene as so intelligent.
Yeah.
And also writes her inner monologue for us in a way that is about Egwene's, like, thought process.
Yeah.
That I really appreciate. I think Brandon Sanderson writes Egwene so well.
Yeah.
And has made her into a character that I think is, like, really, really, really quite lovely. I'm worried about the future of this character and how she's going to butt heads with Rand.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think this is, the mindset behind why she's wearing this red dress is so cool.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Fucking loved it. Like, those are the kind of decisions that, like, I wouldn't fucking think about, but I'm not in this position. Like, Egwene understands that every single little thing that she does, including what she wears that morning, has an impact. And I think she's going to be a fantastic leader. Yeah, they get a bunch of the Darkfins on the list. Obviously, some escape, unfortunately. They also catch a couple who are not on the list. So we do know that the list is not perfect.
Yeah, but she caught like 95%. I love Egwene being like, Varen did it once again.
Fucking crushed it. 100%.
Oh man.
And then we also Egwene finds out that the women who were sent to the Black Tower haven't returned, and they include
all of her lackeys.
Yeah.
Which is definitely Shariam's fault.
Yeah, that's suspicious.
1000%. I'm so scared of what we're going to find out when we get back to those women.
I know.
Because Mazrim Taim is evil.
What?
I know. Crazy. And I'm like a little like,
I know.
What are we? Yeah. Especially like Faline, who's like 17. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's good. It's gonna be tough.
I'm not ready for that.
I'm not either. Although weird that they're not in this book at all. A lot of characters aren't in this book at all. There was some Perrin and some Matt, but like barely any. Elaine, not a mention.
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson was like, I don't know how to talk about pregnancy. I'm gonna leave that one out for now. I'll figure it out later.
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to the pregnant lady later.
100%.
No Lan, right? No Lan at all. We didn't cut up to the north at all.
No.
It's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of characters that aren't in this book. Yeah. No mention. We talked about this last night. I was like, I'm not excited for the Atha on Mir to come back. I kind of like that they're not in it.
No. Also, Galad, we know that he is with Perrin, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
There's like one mention of him, and that's all that we get.
Yeah. So just there was a lot of characters in this that are not in this book in a way that I find really interesting.
Yep.
And so I wonder if they're going to be characters who are in this book a lot that aren't in the next one.
Maybe.
I wonder if Towers of Midnight will like not have any Egwene in it because there's just like no, they don't need to go to the White Tower at all, and we like catch up with Egwene because this is such a like huge moment, and the
I feel like the Towers of Midnight though are the White Tower, the Black Tower, and the
true yeah.
So I don't know.
I just wonder. I feel like there's going to be something. Because this book left out a few characters, I feel like the Towers of Midnight is going to do the opposite and like deal with some characters that weren't dealt with in this and leave some characters from this out.
They're going to catch them up to the timeline that we're at with these people.
Yeah, I don't know who it would be, right? Because Rand obviously can't be Rand.
I think Elaine and Matt, that's going to become one timeline for a little bit, right? Because he's going in Camelin.
Because they're together. No, he's in Camelin.
Yeah. He's, I guess he's there now, but
yeah. Kieran says I wish the timeline was a bit neater. I do wonder how much back in time we're going to go in certain plot lines in Towers of Midnight, because it feels like we have to.
Yeah, we might have some questions about that, because that is definitely something that does like trip me up.
Has anyone edited a chronological Wheel of Time?
Probably.
Like taken the points of view and like rearranged them into where they actually happen?
Yeah, probably. So yeah, they're about to attack the White Tower. Mm-hmm. Shit's about to go down. And Egwene is like, you know what? I have a feeling deep in my loins that I should wait for 1 hour.
Well, no. Yeah, she asks Gareth, what is the maximum?
How long can we wait?
Yeah.
He's like 1 hour. And she's like, okay.
Again, like the way Brandon Sanderson writes this, like Gareth, like even just like the way he was like, the there's 300 of them. It's weird that there aren't many of them on the walls.
Yeah.
But even though we're going to win this, I don't want to add... I wish I'd screenshot it because it's a great line. But he's like, I don't want to add the randomness of night into the battle.
Yes.
And I was like, fuck, that's a good fucking line.
Yep.
I was like, I love Gareth Bryan, man. I just love this character so much.
Fucking goat.
The old men of the Wheel of Time are all pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
All the old soldiers. The old lords are all fucking morons. And the old soldiers are all like fucking heroes.
Yeah, I think that Robert Jordan is saying something about that.
Yeah, Iturralde, Brine, Ruark, Tam, like all of these characters are these characters are fucking rad.
Yup. 100%. Yeah, so
we also find out that Lelaine is like, oh yeah, all the Dream Trongrel are gone.
Oh, right.
So the only one they have left is Swans and the one that Elaine has.
I do love the little mention that like Sheriam is like a hand injury that she won't let anyone look at because she lost a finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because her pinky got caught in her horse's saddle and ripped off.
But it doesn't matter because
she got all of them except one. Because Swan had one.
Yes.
Fuck, I don't know how I didn't put that fucking together in my head. You're right.
Yeah. It's not like explicitly said, so.
Yeah, no, but you're 100%. I just didn't think about it too much because she also lost her head. And so I was like, well,
she died, so it doesn't matter, but
the missing finger isn't as important.
It was very funny.
When your head's bouncing on the ground. I can't wait for that scene in the show because you know they're going to show it. The, like, chopping block of the 50 heads. You have to show that on the show. Yeah. That is too huge a moment. And, like, you don't actually show it, right? You show the heads on the blocks, and then you show Egwene's face when the swords come down. You just hear the noise.
Yeah.
But it's just on Egwene's face. You have to do that on the show.
Yeah.
Because what's her name? That actually plays Egwene. Great actress.
Yeah.
I think, and honestly, you could show, like, Egwene, you could show the entire sitters watching from, like, their hall. I think that it's...
the Swan there.
It's such a huge moment for all of those characters that to not show their faces as it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, Bashir. Bashir is one of those older guys who's also just fucking great. Right?
Yes, fantastic. There's just a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, they wait an hour, and right before they're about to start the attack, the Aes Sedai come out. There's 10 sitters.
I was so fucking grateful. Though I didn't need any more fighting in the White Tower.
Yeah.
This story's just been done.
Thank God. Well, and here's the thing. I think that it's so interesting that we knew that there was a build-up, that there was going to be a fight in the White Tower, but we just got the Sanchin instead of the White Tower against itself. So we got that satisfaction of, like, the action, but we got the emotional, like, beats and resolution for the tower coming together. And so, it's so good. It's so fucking good.
Bizdy says it's like Hermione beheading Professor McGonagall.
What?
I don't know that it is, but
I don't.
I would love. I mean, if McGonagall was evil.
Yeah, I guess.
I think it's more like Hermione beheading Snape. You know?
Yeah.
Or any of the other evil people.
There's a lot of evil people.
Harry beheads in the first book. Quirrell.
Beheads him?
Yeah, he burns his head off first. The rest of the body follows, but he does go hands to the face. He burns from the top down.
Sure. Yeah.
Or Umbridge. If Umbridge had been beheaded, that would have been fun.
Off of their head.
So the Aes Sedai come out, and I really love this being the ending of this. Because I just didn't, like, I was like, this poor city does not need any more war right now.
I know.
This needs to be Egwene, because you know what it would be for me? It would undermine the work that Egwene did in the tower if she still had to do it violently.
Yeah.
So this pays off. Them coming out and being like, actually, can we not fight? Can you be our leader? And everyone is like, this is a trap, right? And Egwene's like, I really don't see how it could be. Like,
yeah.
What's the trap?
What is the trap
They can't all lie. They can't all be Black Asha, right?
Yeah.
And so
Nerdanal, thank you. Welcome to the Nerd Table. Appreciate it.
Nerdanal, thank you for joining the Nargs.
I don't know if I said that properly, but hey. So they're like, hey, we want you as Amerlin Seat. So she becomes Amerlin Seat.
Albino, I don't think the centaurs rape Professor Umbridge. I think they just, like, attack her.
Oh, yeah, they
I don't think there's any sexual component to what happens there.
I don't think so, but they definitely torture her into insanity.
Which is still awful. Yeah. But Hermione does kind of engineer that. You're right.
Well, she's like, we're either fucked or someone has to take care of this person.
Yeah.
So it's like, well,
That is one of the weird elements of that children's novel.
Yeah.
But yeah, Egwene is like, look, there's no fucking like trap here. I have conditions, and I like her conditions. She's like, the blue has to be reinstated, and they're like, yeah, we figured you'd say that, and I'm like, don't you also want that? Like,
yeah.
and they go in, and so they take the army and they walk in.
Yeah.
And Egwene, chapter 46, Egwene is like, I got to go through the ceremony again because if I don't get raised as Amerlin for these people, it's not as real, right?
Because Swan is like, no, we already did that. And Egwene is like, no. I understand that I'm going to explain this to you, Swan.
And so Lelaine is like, or not Lelaine, Larayan is
Larian.
Like, let's do this. And Gawain's like, I'm coming. And Egwene's like, no, you're not.
No, you're fucking not.
Why are you here? I said I need some fucking time, dude.
Just give me a second.
And so she goes into the hall, and they're like, all right, get them titties out because I want to see them.
Yeah, gotta prove that.
And Egwene is like taking her boobs out and is like, oh my god, Gawain wanted to be here for this.
That would have been fucking awkward as shit. What a dumbass. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's right. They have to take their titties out to prove that they're women, even though, like, men have titties too. I'm not gonna lie. If you've seen any man, like I got some titties right now. You know what I mean? I'm carrying a little bit more weight than I want. Part of the reason why I shaved was because I wanted good before photos for when I lose weight and I get great after photos. I'm gonna like put them side by side, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, that was such a crazy transformation you did. But when you're a larger man, you have titties that look like titties.
Yeah.
They can be indistinguishable.
Yeah, I don't think you need to, like, display your breasts to be like, I am woman.
Probably wouldn't have worked so well to stop Halima.
That's fair. You know what? John...
Nerdanel and John Macaulay, thank you to both of you for joining the Narcs.
Yeah, welcome to the Nerd Table. Yeah, so titties
The Black Tower puts dicks on the table. All right, boys, dicks on the table. It's a meeting of the Black Tower.
And you're ranked instead of by your power, like how big it is.
But that gets complicated though, because is it how big you are soft or how big you are hard? Because that is a huge difference for some men.
Rand is hard.
And not a huge difference for others.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Growers versus showers. There's two categories, right?
Guys, you're gonna see on Amazon Prime soon. I am a grower. You know what I mean?
It's true.
I have a respectable length and good girth.
Yeah.
When I'm hard. But when I'm not, it goes away.
Yeah.
It fucks off.
Probably for the best.
And I am soft on Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
there's going to be people who are like, wow, his penis is small. And I'm going to be like, no, it's soft at the time.
Honestly,
I'm trying to set this expectation up now because you're all about to see my penis in
He's
a
not ready
relatively
for it.
short amount of time.
You don't know when it's coming out. Do you?
It's by the end of the year. It's coming out this year.
Well, shit.
There's no. It's not like CGI. It's like a detective show, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you know,
so
you gotta set expectations for people.
Yeah, I'm trying to set up.
I can vouch. You know, he's not trying to like talk himself up. He's just being totally honest.
Yeah.
Nerdy is a grower.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. If I was tame, I would recruit Nerd.
Oh my god.
And I am soft on Amazon Prime. It's true. Randall Thor is going to be hard on Amazon Prime, and I am soft.
Yes. Exactly.
It's a fun scene.
Especially
I'm very excited for you all to see it.
God damn it.
It doesn't help though that I'm also 6'4". I'm so large that proportionally it looks smaller on me than it would on a smaller man.
That's fair as well.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's unfair. It's unfair that I'm 6'4". And
so unfair. Jesus Christ, you're the worst. We'll let you know when that airs.
Yeah, I'll have more for you guys later.
God damn it.
I don't know. I haven't heard from them at all since.
Yeah. Well, and you might not. Unfortunately, it just is what it is.
So, titties out. Egwene is like, yo, where's Sylviana? And they're like, she's in prison. And she's like, all right, get her. And then she does the ceremony. It's a beautiful little ceremony.
Yeah, there's the minimum number of sitters, which, you know, was not ideal.
Which has changed.
Yeah, it changed. And there's also no reds there. So...
Busy says, would you rather be 2 inches taller or your dick be 2 inches longer? Neither.
Neither.
I am
no.
already 6'4",
Please
and if
no.
I'm any taller, I will only hit my head on more things. I don't need to be any taller, and if my dick was any longer, I think that you would be
leave.
upset.
I'd be like, look, I can't. I'm sorry. I need a break. So we pick neither.
Neither. I would be 2 inches shorter.
Yeah.
I think 6'2". Honestly, like being 6'4" has impacted my acting career in some ways because I'm too tall for some.
You hid the message.
I did not mean to do that.
You can't undo it anymore.
I'm sorry, Sean. I didn't mean to hide your message.
Sorry, Sean. That was an accident.
Yeah, I would hate being 2 inches shorter and be 6'2". It would help my acting career.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I'm just too tall for when I do chemistry reads with women. Most actresses are like under 5'6", and so when I do chemistry reads, I come across as the height dynamic is too tough. It's either I can only be too tall. I'm too tall to play a lot of romance on stage because kissing is too awkward. It's a weird. It's like
they
a
need
weird
to, like, get out of
nitty gritty
stool.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we get this fucking amazing scene of.
Oh, that's what we're talking about, not my penis. Right. Yeah, this scene's awesome.
Well, we were also talking about that, but
Egwene is fucking rad here.
Egwene understands the assignment. You know what I mean? She's like, "Bring me Sylviana," and then she like does the ceremony.
Yeah.
And Saren like kind of like gives her a little aside. That's like not
really
part
like
of the
that.
ceremony. Yeah. You know, are you sure you want to do this? This is a lot. And she's like, I already carry this weight.
Yeah.
Whether or not you make it official or not, it doesn't matter to me. The entire weight of the White Tower is on my shoulders, whether you put it there or not. Like I have already done that.
And so Saren is like,
really cool.
That's probably why you were the right person for this.
Yeah.
And then Egwene becomes the Emerald Seat and immediately, without holding her fucking breath, just starts blasting. She's in that room like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you,
fuck your mom. Yeah.
And so Sylviana comes in, and they're like, "Oh, are you really gonna go straight to judgment?" And she's like, "Are you fucking stupid?
Idiot?
This woman's the only person who did anything good. I'm such a fucking New Yorker immediately. As soon as I get upset on book club, I go right here. She's just pointing at everybody like, you're dumb, you're an idiot, you're a moron, you're stupid, you fucked up, I fucked up too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I
messed up.
You know, we all fucked up a little bit
But
here.
you are all terrible." And they're all like, "Yo, we raised you 4 seconds ago." And she's like, "I don't fucking care. I'm Egwene Alvear. I'm the Emerald Seat. I do what I want. And what I want right now is to tell you all, you're idiots. Why did you let this happen? Elena is the worst. And at no point, you had so much power and you didn't fucking use it. You all suck."
She's
and they're
like, some of you sucked less than others, but you still sucked.
And they're just all sitting there like,
They're like,
yeah.
you know, she's right, though. She's right, though.
It's great. She goes off so fast.
Fantastic. Yeah, they think she's going to punish Sylviana, and the girl's like, well, this is probably not the appropriate time for that. And she's like, are you an idiot? This is the only person who stood up to Elena, who realized what the fuck was going on, and actually, like did something for, and this is where the Aiel training for Egwene comes into play in such good way. Like, I love the ideals that the Aiel like instill of like, you have to atone for the things you've done, even if you made the only decision that you could or the best possible decision that you could.
I agree with that.
Like if you fuck up still, like, even if it's not your fault, it doesn't matter. You have to atone for that. You have to acknowledge that. Like, the Aes Sedai are so removed. They can't even acknowledge when they've failed. Except for, you know, a couple of them. We do kind of see that shift, right? But the Aiel have this idea that, like, I think was demonstrated so incredible with Egwene.
Yeah.
She's like, Egwene is like, I have toe to you guys, right?
Yeah, she brings Giotto into the tower in a way that doesn't feel, that makes it feel less alien to Aes Sedai society. Yeah. But brings the culture of it in.
Yeah.
I think that this is something that you and I do in our relationship that I like, though, is that, like, because, you know, we've had issues in the past of, like, small things, and like, there's a thing that or at least I say a lot in conversation of, like, I understand that you're not mad at me, but I am still sorry about how this played out or that I did this, right?
Yeah.
Like, I understand that this isn't a problem for you, but I need you to understand that it not being a problem doesn't mean that am not willing to take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
Because I want you to know that even though it didn't upset you, I still did something that doesn't benefit you or that hindered you in a way. And I am sorry about that, even if it doesn't, even if you're not angry about it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's important to acknowledge those times where you're like, look, like I fucked up, and I get that it wasn't a big enough fuck up, or it didn't, you know, I understand you're not mad,
Yeah.
but I still fucked up, and I still want you to know that I'm acknowledging my responsibility in that.
Yeah.
And I think that I think that that's one of those things that you and I do in conversation together that I think is, that helps us have a really strong relationship.
100%. Nobody is perfect, right?
Yeah.
And you just have to acknowledge that about people and acknowledge that about yourself.
Yeah.
If you go through life thinking that you cannot make mistakes and that you are infallible, we all know those people.
Yeah.
It makes it a worse experience for you and everyone else around you. And Egwene is like, I fucked up as well. I was a rebel. I didn't have a choice. But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like that's not what's important here. I'm not here to make excuses for that. I'm here to make up for it and to move forward and like go to bigger and better things. And it's so good. It's so good. I love the Aiel and their system. I get them. I understand them. You know.
And I think that part of my God.
They like to mow the lawn.
They like to mow the lawn on Fridays.
During book club, it's great.
I don't even know if you guys can hear it, but I can. I think that this might go a little off the rails, but I think that what a lot of people call gaslighting in relationships, I'm not going to say that gaslighting isn't real. It is. I think that where a lot of gaslighting comes from in relationships is in one partner's inability to understand their responsibility for their partner's emotional state. And I think that, and it's mostly men, I think, particularly Western men who have grown up in like the world of toxic masculinity. I think they come at the concept of their partner's emotional state as being their partner's responsibility. And that's where you get apologies like, I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Yeah.
It is you shifting your responsibility onto the other person and saying that it is your responsibility to feel how you feel about what I said.
Yeah.
And I think that it takes you away from the ability to understand that even if your intentions are good, you might still need to apologize to someone for how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are uncomfortable with that. They shy away from that concept because they want to live in this world where you are only responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that what is toxic about masculinity is the very flawed ideology of the lone wolf, in that every single person is individually responsible for themselves.
Yeah.
And that isn't true. We are a tribal species
who
we feed off of each other's energy. We know that we're a very empathetic animal, right?
Yeah.
And the people who I see have the healthiest relationships, and the thing that I work on so hard because I don't think that I'm very the way my brain works, I find being responsible for other people's emotions very difficult, but I also understand that it is my job to make other people feel comfortable. And I know I'm not always great at it, and I'm working, and it's something that I'm actively trying to do. But I have to take responsibility for how I make people feel, or else I'm going to make everybody in my life feel worse. And when you understand that, it becomes so much easier to apologize to people. Understanding, like, because you can apologize with my intent. I would rather than say, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
I would rather say, I didn't intend to hurt you in that way.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry that I did.
Yeah, it wasn't my intention. There was no malice behind it. And I think that distinction is super important. But it doesn't change the fact that this person still felt this way.
Yeah.
And that just needs to be acknowledged.
Yeah, and
right?
I think there's an element of responsibility that so many modern people struggle with. And seeing Egwene turn that on, and I think that the White Tower struggled with that, and seeing Egwene turn that on its head in its scene is really powerful. And I think that it gives Egwene this status among the Aes Sedai here that is beautiful, and it creates this incredible, when Sylviana does come in, and when they are I do appreciate that Corell like makes sure that their titties aren't out anymore before she shepherds Sylviana into the room, and she's like, look, like what she respects about Sylviana is that you did your job, You
Yeah.
did it well, and you took responsibility for it.
Yeah.
That you are living a life of responsibility, which I think is the most important thing that you can do as a person, is to be responsible for your life and responsible for the people around you.
And a lot of people are not.
And Sylviana is rewarded for that in a way that she absolutely deserves.
Yeah.
Even though, was she spanking the shit out of Egwene? Yeah. But there was responsibility in that, and she understands her place in that.
1,000%.
And there's so much power in understanding your own responsibility and in being apologetic for it in the right way.
Yeah.
It's why I love that Egwene is like, oh no, they have to apologize for rebelling.
Yeah.
Because that you cannot bring the tower back together without everyone acknowledging their part in it, even if their part in it isn't 100% bad, right?
Yeah.
They had the best of intentions and they still need to apologize. And it's so... Egwene is coming off like a fucking diplomatic genius here for how she's handling things.
And it makes the people respect her, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because she doesn't put herself above it. She apologizes as well. Like, she tries to place everyone on an even playing field because they are all equals, and that's what she's trying to instill in these people, that they are equals, that they all matter, and that they do all need to take responsibility for their wins and their losses, right? I, as a person I know, automatically respect someone so much more when they take responsibility for their actions.
Yeah.
It's like fucking YouTube apology videos, to trivialize it in a sense, right? But you can tell when people are like, oh, I'm so sorry, didn't mean, I just, excuse, and
It's
sorry you felt and that you interpreted this, right?
It's the difference between the YouTube apology videos where the apologizer makes themselves the victim versus the ones where the apologizer acknowledges their responsibility and the harm they did to the actual victim.
Exactly.
And it isn't a fine line. It is a very distinct line, and everybody knows when you've done it poorly.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we haven't had to make a YouTube apology video yet, but I'm sure we will at some point. So the Attack on Titan community.
I was going to say, should we apologize to the Attack on Titan?
No, because that is a show, and if you don't know...
apologize for, being honest.
Attack on Titan is a show that struggles with responsibility. And so much of the arguments against my problems with the show are, well, these characters have no agency in their world.
Yeah.
And so you can't be upset when they behave the way that they do.
Yeah.
And I think that's... it's just not a storytelling that I'm as interested in as I am in Egwene here, where I'm like, yeah, Egwene is fucking responsible for her actions. And because everybody watches her be responsible for her actions, all of these characters are going to be better people for experiencing this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Egwene is going to
Egwene
change
is leading by example.
the White Tower for the better by being as wonderful as she is in this. And I loved this scene.
Yeah.
And the speech obviously that she has later.
Yes, there's so many good moments, but just fucking fantastic.
Oh no, that is in this chapter as well. I want to read that speech if you'll indulge me.
Sure. I think first she makes Sylviana her keeper, right? And she accepts.
Yeah, because she knows she needs to be a red. She needs it to be a red, which I think is so smart.
100%.
Yeah. So this is Egwene's speech. Sisters, daughters. Oh, and she raises her to the red because there are no reds, because the reds are kind of like, they're worried they're going to be banished like the blues were.
Yep.
And B,
or a bunch of them were dark friends.
All of the sitters have fled.
Yeah.
So she goes out to address the rebels, and she says, "Sisters, daughters, I've been raised properly to the Amerlin seat. Both sides of this conflict have chosen me. Both followed the prescribed methods, and both now accept me as their Amerlin. It is time to join together again. I will not pretend that our division did not take place. We of the White Tower are sometimes too eager to forget those facts we don't want to acknowledge. This one cannot be hidden. Not from us who lived it. We were divided. We nearly came to war with one another. We have disgraced ourselves. Yeah. You rebels before me have done something terrible. You have shattered the tower and raised up a rival Amerlin. For the first time, troops have been marshaled by Aes Sedai against Aes Sedai. I led these troops. I know of this shame. Necessary or not, it is a shame. And this is where, like, the Aiel language is so peppered into this speech.
Yeah,
and I don't think
but without the toe,
yeah.
you know?
But this is an Aiel speech, and I love that about it. You can just feel the time she spent with them matters so much to who she is now.
Yeah.
It lives in these words.
So much.
For those of you wondering what was the section that made me almost cry in this, it was actually the speech. It wasn't anything to do with Rand. This was where I was tearing up. Because even reading it now, I have goosebumps. I think this is, like, one of the best written pieces of this entire series.
Yeah.
Necessary or not, it is a shame. And so it is that I require your admission of guilt. You must take responsibility for your crimes, even those performed in the name of the greater good. Fucking brilliant.
Yep.
You did not come here in glory. You did not come here victorious, for there is no victory and could have been no victory when sister fought sister and warder died to warder. Mistakes have been made on both sides, and we will all have to work hard to repair what we have done. It is said by blacksmiths that a sword can never be whole again. Once it has been shattered, it must be completely reforged, the metal melted down to slag, then reworked and reformed. These next few months will be our reforming. We have been broken, then torn down nearly to roots. The last battle approaches, and before it arrives, I mean to see that we are once again a sword forged with strength, whole and unbroken. The fact that she does this off the dome, that was a little crazy. Like, I feel like a team of writers probably helped her with this. I will make demands of you. Like, you know what I want? You know what I fucking want to do? I want to write the West Wing version of writing this scene.
Oh my god.
The walk and talk with Josh.
Well, and also she brings up the blacksmiths. Like, that's also a very ideal thing as well.
The last battle approaches, and before it arrives, I mean to see that we are once again a sword forged with strength, whole and unbroken. I will make demands of you. They will be harsh. They will stretch you to the limits of what you think you can bear. I will take these burned holes and fill them. Accommodations will have to be made, for between us there are far too many sitters for the hall, not to mention 5 too many Aja heads. Some of you will have to step down and bow yourselves in humility before those you dislike. What a fucking sentence! It's so fucking good. These days will test you. I will force you to work with those you saw as enemies just hours ago. You will march alongside those who spurned you, or hurt you, or hated you. But we are stronger than our weaknesses. The White Tower stands, and we shall stand with it. We will become one again. We will be an assembly that tales will tell of. When I am finished with you, it will not be written that the White Tower was weak. Our divisions will be forgotten in the face of our victories. We will be remembered not as the White Tower who turned against itself, but as the White Tower who stood strong in the face of the shadow. These days will be legendary. I'm like, even now, like, you can see my skin is fucking popping.
I know.
This is the fucking, like, this might be one of the greatest speeches ever fucking written down.
I couldn't read Legendary without thinking Barney Stinson.
I know, but like,
it's too good.
Let it go forth across the land. Let it be spoken of. Let it be relied upon, and let it be remembered. The White Tower is whole and complete, and no one, man, woman, or creation of the shadow will see us divided again. Like that is one of, if not the greatest speech I've ever read in a book.
Yeah.
And it is one of the greatest things ever. Yeah. I just love it.
Yeah.
And like, this is a level of like speaking truth to power and the honesty of this speech. Because we talk a lot about, the communication in this series being really rough and like the manipulations, and there is nothing manipulative about this speech. This is at its core a very dark speech.
Yep.
You're going to do things that you feel are terrible. You are going to work with people that you hate. You are going to bow yourself in humility before people who have spurned you. There is a darkness to this, but it is so honest, and it speaks to the reality of the world these characters live in a way that it builds them up to understanding the depth of the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is like the greatest State of the Union speech you could ever give.
Yeah.
And it allows for all of these characters to come into this apology understanding the reverence that she has for the apology.
Yeah, and Egwene has learned from the mistakes that have been made through history, with the White Tower sweeping things under the rug, pretending shit doesn't exist, and instead is like this, we're not going to pretend this didn't happen. We're not going to hide this.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be secret histories of the White Tower. No, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. We are people, and I think that a lot of the mistrust from people against Aes Sedai is that they know that they can't be perfect, that they know that they're hiding things.
Yeah.
And being open and honest with what actually happened there is going to be, because they're keeping the oaths, is going to be a big step in healing that trust with the nations of Randland.
Yeah.
And so, fucking Egwene is just such a big brain here. I loved it.
It's great. Like, this chapter is second only to the Battle of Emond's Field for me. This is one of my, like, this might be my, it's 3 pages that I think are 3 of the best pages I've ever read in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that this speech is, it's unbelievable. It pays off so much of Egwene's growth, of what Siuan has taught her, of what the Aiel have taught her. It blends Siuan's teachings and the Aiel so beautifully into a moment. And
I love that you get
It's earned.
to see
It's so earned.
Yeah, I love that you get to see a character who has grown because of the influences around them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of characters that I've read who like grow, and it comes from an internal place. I really like being able to pinpoint where things are coming from in our characters' arcs.
Yeah.
James Gunn, thank you for that super chat.
Erwin's speech better? No.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe
I'm so
in the
sorry.
original
To talk
language?
about characters who don't understand how to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Not even close. That speech is fine.
I really liked Guardians 3, so well done.
Yeah, you're a great writer. I love your movies.
Yeah.
Slither is great. She hasn't seen it, but
Sorry.
yeah, it's great.
No, I'll get on that. Yeah.
This is just it's fantastic. And
Yeah.
we need to move on because I don't want to have a 5-hour show, but I love this so much.
Fair enough.
Chapter 47, the one he lost. Tam shows up and Rand loses his fucking shit.
Yeah. This is rough. Well, Rand goes for a walk first, you know?
Yeah, and Rand is like,
for a walk.
I like look like a human, but I am not a human. That's not me. Not a human.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places.
And he is pondering why the Choden Call is not in the prophecies, but Kalendor is.
Which comes into play later.
Yeah, well, and
Because it's about working together.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to work with others.
What?
It's like being a team player is a good thing. So he finds his way to the Heart of the Stone. Yep. And is like, hey, you guys don't need to stand here. This is just a room.
Yeah, Calendar's not here anymore, so
there's no reason for you to be here.
Be useful. We're going to Sheo Ghul.
They can travel into any room in this place, so it doesn't really matter where you are.
Yeah.
And he finds himself at the place where he brought that little girl back in The Dragon Reborn. Or Shadow Rise. I can't remember which book it was in.
I think it's 3.
Or 4. It's 3 or 4. It's either... It's either right at the end of 3 or right at the beginning of 4. Because remember at the beginning of 4, they're hanging out in the stone for a bit.
Fair.
I can't remember when the battle happens.
Probably tell us, but there's also
it's Shadow Reborn. Okay. Shadow Rising.
Shadow Reborn. There's also tapestries of him on the walls.
Yeah, they had time to like paint and stitch and
embroider.
Yeah.
I have to pee so bad. I will be right back. I'm so sorry.
Bye.
I love this part though.
And so he enters his room. And he's had a good pace. He's had a good conversation. And he's like, you know what? I am emotionless. I am hard. I am rock hard. I haven't seen Min in a bit. That's weird. She's kind of gone. But I understand why she's gone. I'm too hard. God damn. Call the police and the fireman. And just as he's thinking the lyrics to the Bruno Mars song that I'm sure Luce Theron remembers from the Age of Legends, there's a knock on the door. And he goes over. And he opens the door. And Clarice, do you want to fill us in on who's behind the door? Oh, yeah. So behind the door is Tam L4. And Rand's like, Daddy? And then Tam walks in, and they have a whole conversation about how, like, Tam acknowledges that he's a stepdad, and Rand is like, yeah, I knew because when we were in the dark after you fought Narg. Do you remember Narg? Narg was a great character. I fucking love Narg. Holy shit, I miss Narg so much. Do you remember when he was like, Narg smart? Oh my god, that was such a great moment in the first book. Wow, I just loved her so much. Narg is canonically female. I don't know if you guys know that. But so Narg was like, Narg smart, and then I carried you through the woods, and you were like, I'm not your daddy, actually, but you were like kind of in and out of it because you'd been stabbed, and I hadn't healed you yet. And Tam's like, yeah, no, that totally happened. That makes sense. I'm sorry that you found out that way, but I hope you know, Lord, son, I don't actually know what to call you anymore. It's kind of weird that you are doing I don't know what to say.
Why are we doing a Mickey Mouse impression?
No, that was you.
That is not me.
Yeah, Clarice kind of sounds like this, you know, she's like, yeah.
Why do I have a, like, weird growl?
I don't know.
What is this? That doesn't sound like, I can't even
Well, you know, the thing about Clarice Polaris is,
oh my god, you sound like a specific character.
No, Mickey Mouse is more like,
yeah, you've got the
you want to be a Mouseketeer?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, Mickey Mouse doesn't have so much growl.
What you were doing is a like very specific It is a very
It wasn't quite
specific
Morty.
character.
Morty from Rick and Morty's like, Rick, it's Rick and Morty isn't quite as high. I don't know if I want to do that, Rick. I don't know. He's more. Morty's a little bit more. I don't know, you guys. It's Dedsy says make it stop. I'm sorry.
Dedsy, thank you for the super chat.
You need a puppet. I need a puppet, Clarus, a little redheaded.
Oh my god, that would be horrific.
So Tam comes in. The fucking like son, Lord, I don't know what to call you, was so awkward. And then Rand being like, yes, Tam, you did a good job raising me.
Yeah.
Uncomfy.
Yeah, it was very uncomfy. But like in a way that was so real.
Yeah, it was great.
Like I was like, yeah, this would be super fucking awkward.
Yeah.
Nerdy side job is voice acting.
Yeah. I wish I could do more character stuff though. All the voice acting I do is like fucking industrial shit, and like it pays really well.
Send us some voice acting.
If you need a voice actor, I'm down. I will create a character for you. But like a lot of what I get paid to do as a voice actor is like
reading instructionals.
When you enter into the system, remember to put your password in to the password field. The password field can be found on the top right side of your screen. If you're having a hard time finding the password field on mobile, there is and so it's just a lot of like that stuff.
Yeah, that's just not quite as fun.
You could voice Gollum probably better than that game that came out. Oh, have you seen it? Chat. Go watch Skillup's video. If you want to laugh for 20 minutes, go watch Skillup's video on the new Gollum
game. Is the
game.
voice really bad?
The voice isn't as bad as everything else about the game. It looks horrendous, and it costs $60.
I said, that trailer dropped, and people were like, "Wow!" And I was like, "This does not look interesting to me."
Yeah.
And I feel very vindicated.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Anyways.
So yeah, this scene with Tam hurts your heart.
Serious scenes.
Tam is like, yeah, Morgase is alive. But she says she's not queen. And I was like, what? Tam was the fucker who recognized Morgase?
No, Morgase.
Of all of the characters that have run into her, Tam is the one that noticed her?
Unless Morgase at this point has told them who she is.
Maybe that happens in Towers of Midnight. Maybe this is all revealed in Towers of Midnight, and this is like a teaser for something we're gonna flash back to.
What's happening here? That seems very strange.
The Morgaseness of it all was, I did not like this line. I was like, because it implied that Tam figured it out before everyone else, and I was like, no. Galena would have, if Tam fucking recognized Morgase, Galena would have recognized Morgase, okay?
Yeah, especially because, I don't know.
Look, Travis Willingham and I we're gonna play brothers one day. That's all I'm gonna say.
I hope so.
I'm gonna get that guy to play I love him so much. He is my hero. You don't understand. I love that man.
We love him.
He's a fellow big, tall, neurodivergent boy.
Neurospicy. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
Yeah, we also know how...
Long live Grog.
We also know how Tam got his sword. He killed the Blade Master and
we knew that already.
Witnesses. I didn't remember that. I'm sure we were told... we were probably told that. I think
that's how we learned about that rule, right?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh my God, Sean is so right.
What?
I'm so stupid. When Rand has his vision of Perrin, Gilad is there. Gilad would recognize his fucking stepmom.
Oh, fair.
If Gilad would be like, Morgase?
Timelines.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, timelines.
Right, because Gilad is there. No, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gilad is Rand's brother. Yeah. So Morgase is his stepmom.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Sean. Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. No, that checks out. Whatever the timelines are there, we'll figure it out. But interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh man.
Daniel Short says this section kind of suffers through the books being split in two. That makes sense.
I think that's fair. I didn't really take away from the scene at all. I thought that what was being said about, duty, and like that you always have a choice in life, was still really poignant. Like, I love that Rand is like, should stop whining, and Tam is like, no, if you're a lord, it's deliberating, and I was like,
that's great.
Let's fucking go.
And so Tam introduces a concept to Rand, where Rand is like, I'm stuck, like I'm in a prison of the pattern. I can't make any choices. And Tam says, no, like it's not about how you live. It's not about it's not about it's not about
whether you live or die, but like what
not
you
how
live or
you die, but
for.
why you die.
Yeah.
And what you die for, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like he's actually getting through to Rand. Rand is like softening, and it's working. Like this is getting through to him in a way that nobody else can.
Yeah.
And I think that Min could have, or Elaine could have, or Avienda could have. Min's problem was that she was there for the fall. And Elaine and Avienda's problem is that they're too caught up in their own shit to help Rand.
They also don't have the life experience that Tam does. Like Tam
sure, but I think
relate to a way.
I think they could have gotten through to him if they weren't doing their own shit.
I just mean that Tam understands what it's like to be a soldier and be like a piece in the puzzle that like the others are all like main characters.
They would have gotten through to him in a different way.
Sure. Yeah, I think that is totally fair. Tam is the one person who can really relate to Rand on this specific level.
Yeah.
And that Rand respects. And yeah, it is like working. It does seem to be working until Tam mentions Cadsuane. He's like, oh, damn, like, I wish that woman had come for me sooner. And Rand is like, I'm sorry, what? Who this bitch?
Christian Rapper says Tam is the definition of a Mary Sue character, but I'm okay with that. He's not.
No.
A Mary Sue character, the reason Tam is into Mary Sue is because he has lived a life that has given him the experience necessary to have these skills.
Yeah, even if we don't see that on screen because Tam is not the main character, his knowledge and his life experience still comes from somewhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't just start, I don't know, fucking basket weaving and is perfect at it. Like,
yeah, it's not because this isn't his first time dealing with this. He has a lifetime of it, and he specifically calls back to his own experiences.
Yeah.
Like in this chapter alone, he is pointing at why he knows these things.
Yeah.
Like he brings up the story of how he became a blade master as evidence of why what he's saying is valid, right? And that is the difference between a character between a character who's introduced as just Mary Sue in this series would be more like Elaine, right? Elaine has just kind of always been good at things in a weird way.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but Elaine hasn't had to work for a lot of the skills that she's developed.
She just like makes terrain grills out of nowhere. Which here's the thing, her being good at the Camelin stuff, political stuff, that's been her whole life. She is trained for these kinds of things. But yeah, the one power, when you're kind of just perfect at it, does feel a little bit in that direction.
Yeah. Narcissus, thank you for that super chat. The way they split these books to focus on a few of the plot instead of all of them made these books not sloggy. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. I'm glad they accepted the weird timeline trade-off. That's fair. I just wish that it was set up a little. I wish it was explained a little bit better in the books. I wouldn't mind them giving like dates or things.
More context.
Yeah, some context would be good.
Some touchstones for sure.
But so Tam is like, what the fuck have they done to you, man? God, Cadsuane brought me here. And then Rand is like, Cadsuane brought you here. And then this is the part where I was like, remember when I said last week that Cadsuane was manipulating Rand? And you were like, no, this wasn't manipulative at all. It's fucking manipulative. And can you guys read? You're in a book club, so I'm assuming you can read. Cadsuane sucks. Cadsuane fucking sucks here. And like, Tam almost dies for it. Because she doesn't... Look, bringing Tam in to help Rand... I think is a great move. Not adequately preparing Tam for why the situation is as fraught as it is and throwing Tam in with some pre-written words and hoping that it works out is where Cadsuane fucking falls apart.
Cadsuane's biggest pitfall is that she is not honest with people and doesn't share information. If she had been completely honest with Tam... as to what the situation was, and hey, Rand fucking hates me. This is what he did to me. So like, you need to tread with caution. I think that like bringing Tam in for this is definitely like a good call, but she's already fucked up so bad and has not learned from that, and then fucks up again in the same way.
And Tam calls her out on it and is right.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and that's when
Tam
Nynaeve is like...
Tam is like, you're terrible.
And that's when Nynaeve watches Tam call out Cadsuane for being a bully.
Thank God. I love
like,
Tam.
Oh. Tam is like, I've dealt with fucking people like you. If you were a dude, you'd be trying to punch me, but since you are not, like, you're just using the one power to fucking bring your dick out.
Bullies are bullies.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes.
But before we get that, Rand freaks out about Cadsuane because of what she did. And he weaves balefire at his dad, realizes in that moment what has happened, and is like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go blow up Ebu Dar, and pops through a portal, leaving Tam staring at the hole in the earth where his son just looked at him with eyes that could literally kill.
Yeah.
And like, oh my God, this hurt.
Look at how they massacred my boy.
I felt like Rand reading this in that I went numb. Like, I think that there's a world where this could have made me cry, but I was so numb. And the first emotion I felt reading this was anger. I was so mad at Cadsuane.
Yeah.
And this is one of those weird times where characters, like, I understand this is all fictional, but I feel my emotions very deeply. And I was mad at Cadsuane.
Yeah.
I was viscerally angry at this character for putting this situation here.
Yup.
And it is...
I don't blame you.
Ildram, thank you for joining for 5 months.
Ildram, thank you.
When Cadsuane chastised Nynaeve for keeping information hostage with the world on the line, I wanted to scream. Yes.
God. I know.
Yes. Thanks for reading my poem. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Rant on More, this chapter is worth an audiobook re-listen. Ooh, I would check that out. I would like to hear Michael Kramer read some of these lines. For sure.
Yeah. Bring some fucking tissues. Thank you for that super chat, Rand.
Yeah, this was just... I was so viscerally angry with Tam here because...
With Tam? Cadsuane?
No, I was angry with Tam in that, like...
Tam. Alongside him.
Yeah, side by side. When he was giving it to Cadsuane, I was right there with him, you know, looking over his shoulder because it does. Like, I think that, like, this is her greatest failure to me, right, is this. And she won't see it that way. And this is my problem with this working out, is that Cadsuane is going to be like, it worked. My methods worked once again because I'm the great Cadsuane. And when I put things into motion, and I'm like, yes, but you don't understand how close you were to destroying
the entire world.
Because if Rand destroys Abu Dar there, it's done for.
Or if Rand kills himself on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Also, like, yeah. No, she fucked up so bad. Oh, my God. Yeah.
And so we cut to chapter 48. Min and Cadsuane are having a calm little discussion about the prophecies of the dragon. And Min comes to, if you know how Calendar works, which we do, the most obvious conclusion in the world. Yes,
but if you have no idea how Calendar works, then this would not be obvious, which the historians obviously didn't.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. But yeah, Min is like, this is wrong. And what's her face is like... shitty girl. And Cadsuane is like, actually no, you're right about that.
So this chapter is called Reading the Commentaries, which is something I try not to do as much as possible on the internet.
Fair enough. I don't blame you for that.
Y'all are delinquents. Don't go into our comment sections on any platform, including Patreon, the people who pay because they're supporting us.
Yeah, apparently there's spoilers in the Patreon
I
comments
know.
right now, so just stay out of it.
No. Y'all
need to be stopped.
You test my patience.
Yeah.
You test my patience.
God damn it.
I also will love how confidently y'all will say that the show or thing works one way, only to have someone in the next comment below it be as confident about a completely opposite reading. Yeah. But we're the ones who are wrong that it's confusing, even though y'all... It's funny. People are like, this thing isn't confusing because it is this. And then the next person will be like, because it is this other thing. And I'm like, do you not see how you both being so confident in your position on what the thing is why I'm saying that it is confusing. Yes. Because if it wasn't confusing, you wouldn't both be able to be so confident in your opposition to one another.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. It is very interesting how that works. So the saying is that he shall hold a blade of light in his hands, and the three shall be one, which we know how Calendar works. We need 2 women and a man to wield Calendar safely.
But Beldine sniffs at Min about it, and then Min is right, and Cadsuane is like, you wanna apologize, Beldine? And Beldine gets up and leaves, and I was like, wow, Jesus Christ, what the fuck, what's going on here?
Yep.
But we don't have time to get into Beldine being little...
We don't have time for that. Because Tam comes in, and Cadsuane fucking ties him up with hair because she's a fucking bully, and Tam calls her out for her bullshit. And Min is like, oh shit, Rand is gone. And she's like, this direction. And they're like, oh shit, he's gone to Abu Dar to destroy the Sanchin. And Tam is like, yeah, it kind of looked like Abu Dar, actually.
So let's just read this dialogue really quick. Tam slams the door open and says, what have you done to him? And Cadsuane responds with, I have done nothing to the boy other than encourage him towards civility, something, it seems, other members of the family could learn as well. To which Tam replies, watch your tongue, Aes Sedai. Have you seen him? The entire room seemed to grow darker when he entered, and that face. I've seen more emotion in the eyes of a corpse. What has happened to my son? I want this scene. This show has to make it to the end because I need this scene. I need someone to yell at fucking Cadsuane. Watch your tongue, Aes Sedai. Narcissus, thank you for that. Oh my god, thank you for that super duper chat. Boom, I just spoiled you. I feel spoiled. Narcissus. Ooh, I'm so spoiled.
See, this is the kind of spoiling that we encourage. The other kind of spoiling, not so much, but you know what? I appreciate you.
But thank you for that. That is incredibly generous. And honestly, you guys are ridiculous.
That's super duper duper chat.
This is the scene that I might actually go back and read or listen to the audiobook because I just want to listen to someone yell at Cadsuane.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So Tam says, you have a lot to explain to, and gets cut off, and he's lifted into the air. Cadsuane, or Nynaeve goes, Cadsuane, you don't need to. And Tam goes, it's all right, wisdom. I've known men who, when challenged, always turn to their fists for answers. I've never liked Aes Sedai. I was happy to be rid of them when I returned to my farm. A bully is a bully, whether she uses the strength of her arm or other means. And Cadsuane snorts, but the words have irked her.
So she puts him down. She's like, I don't like it when other people are right.
And so... Tam is right here. If you'd explained to me how he regarded you, it might have gone differently. Burn me. This is what I get for listening to Aes Sedai. Yeah. This is what Cadsuane gets for being cocky. And I hate that it works. I hate that this plan does work. Because Cadsuane is... I need her to learn this lesson. Because I do think she's valuable to the fight. But her cockiness, her arrogance, her withholding, her narcissism is her fucking greatest flaw. And it makes her exhausting to all the people around her, including us. And it's why she sucks, because Tam could have fucking been killed by Rand al'Thor because she didn't share information well. And that would have been the end of the world.
Yeah.
And like her arrogance could have ended the whole world. Yeah. And she is still in this moment where this man is explaining this to her. She is still trying to pretend that she was right and that she was like, her arrogance is untouched here. All she like, there's the snort, but like, Cadsuane, what has to happen for you to learn your lesson? You are too old to be this fucking cocky. She behaves like a 15-year-old girl that all the boys like in school, so she thinks she can get away with shit because she's hot.
She's the Regina George.
She is Regina George, but Regina George learned her fucking lesson. She had to get hit by a goddamn bus for it to happen.
Someone get a bus.
We need to run Cadsuane over with a fucking bus.
Someone get a bus, please.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Cadsuane needs like a fucking like quest like list like in a video game where it says whether you succeeded or failed. It just gets like a big fat failure. You failed this quest.
Oh my god, I just hate her so. I wanted to grow to like this character over time. I was hoping this shirt was going to be a joke. That I was going to be like, remember when I made a Cadsuane suck shirt? And all I want to do now is remake this shirt with the letters larger so that you can't miss the fact that Cadsuane sucks. But she's so fucking arrogant about it.
I know. Like, I can't even, like, try and defend her anymore because I'm like, yeah, what an asshole.
Do you still shrimp for Cadsuane?
No. No, I'm good.
So chapter 49, just another man. Rand pops out in Ebu Dar, spends some time hanging out with the Tuatha, which was cool.
Yeah.
Trades his cloak for a walking stick and a less nice cloak.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I like this. I like the Rand having to come to terms with the fact that the Sanshin are doing a better job ruling than he is because they're not beholden to the next battle. They only have to rule what they've done, what they have, right? And so they're able to be more benevolent.
Yeah.
Because Rand is ignoring the fact that it is easy to lead well when you have slaves for labor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's the reality of it, right? Like the Sanshin Empire benefits from slavery.
Yeah.
Much in the same way that the American South did. Yeah. And you know, the American economy today is built on the backs of the ability to grow that slavery gave that economy for so long.
Yep.
And you know, it's why when we talk about reparations, it's so silly to me that so many people are against reparations when so many white Americans have so much wealth today because of the like long-term effects of building a country on the backs of slaves.
Yeah. Yep.
And so it's one of those kind of like absurdist arguments that I don't know how to get into with people.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because these people are all taking advantage. They don't have slaves themselves, but they are full on taking advantage of this situation and turning a blind eye to what's happening to these people. And, unfortunately, there's a lot of hate towards Aes Sedai and channelers, which there's, a lot of lies that are perpetrated about other races as well. And so this does feel like very real world and poignant.
Arzu, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Malandio says Canada did slavery too. Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. I don't think that the Canadian economy benefited to the level that the American economy did. Yeah. But I'm not denying that at all. Canada has a very dark history that we have a lot to atone for. And I think that the current Canadian government is doing a very bad job of that, especially with the promises they made when, particularly towards the Indigenous people of Canada and the promises they made to them when they went into power. Don't get me wrong. I am not unilaterally focused on the wrongs of America. The country I live in is wrong in many ways as well. Yeah. But it is, it's
the easiest one for more people to connect to because it is kind of the bigger, more poignant example.
Well, and it is the one that I think that Robert Jordan pulled from through his relationship being South Carolinian. Yes. Right. And also I think the reality of it is that when you have magic slaves who can, deal with so many of your issues, it allows for the rest of the society to run a lot easier, right? Yeah. That's just how it works, right? Yeah. And so the reality of the situation is that, yes, the Ebu Darans don't have complaints because the Sanchin have not fully assimilated them and won't fully assimilate them until their war is over. The lie of this scene that Rand is not acknowledging is that the only reason these people are not complaining about the Sanchin yet is because the Sanchin haven't fully assimilated them yet. Yeah. Because it's not valuable to them to fully assimilate them until after they have won their war. Yeah, none of the Tuatha Honor farmers who are seeking refuge here have been sold as property yet, right? But they will become many of the Ebu Darans who are currently free will be made into Dakoval after they win the war. Because the reality is that the Sanchin, it isn't valuable to be to fully assimilate the nation while you're also fighting a war. You don't want to have that infighting inside of your borders. No, you don't want to be fighting inside as well as outside. And so I think that there's a lie that Rand is... I think that it is valuable for Rand to see it this way, because I think that it will make him a better ruler moving forward. Yeah. Right? I think that him viewing the Sanchin in their benevolence, even though Rand is not realizing how false that benevolence actually is. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And it is temporary. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Right? These people, like I said, they fled to benefit and to turn their backs on an entire group of people and don't understand that they might be in a worse position for doing so as well. It's hopefully going to bite them in the ass. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this was a rough chapter to read because the city is wow, everything's doing so well. And I'm yeah, but it's not worth it. But it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Yeah. And I think it's important for Rand to not see that lie in this moment for his character development. And I think Brandon Sanderson writes this so fucking well. Yeah. But there is an interesting element of it where the kindness and the benevolence is not real. Yeah. But Rand isn't a smart enough political mind to realize that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But so he almost decides to kill everybody and has actually a really good plan. Yeah. If he had gone through with it, I actually think his plan was well thought out to limit the number of Ebu Daran casualties. Yeah. But he doesn't take that. Instead, he just pops up to the top of Everest. Well, he gets sick, right? He gets sick, and the people are genuinely... No, he gets sick because that's just him taking in the power. No, I know, but the people are worried about him. Yeah, he sees the worry in these people's faces who don't know who he is or whatever, and it's a striking moment for him, and he has to just get out. It was such a it was such an interesting moment for me. That entire chapter wasn't action packed or anything like that, but him being there and witnessing what was going on.
and then trying to enact this plan and not being able to succeed. It was, oh man, it was just, it like shook me a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we get to chapter 50.
Yeah.
A lot of people's favorite, it kind of seems like.
It's good. It isn't as good as Egwene's speech, but it is very close. This chapter is fantastic.
This was the one that got me a little choked up. So we had different moments. Yeah.
So Rand sits on top of the mountain and just kind of chills. He's like, eh. I really like that. I like that Asmodean was finally acknowledged. And he's like, Asmodean taught me this, and I couldn't figure it out back then, but now I can. That's weird.
I nailed it.
And he starts to think about how it's all pointless. And I was like, oh my God, is Rand about to like kill himself and then like not be there for the last battle? I was like, this shit went dark. And then there's some really interesting pronoun play here. And noun play.
Yes.
As Rand has this giant argument with himself with some great lines. Like, we live the same lives over and over and over. We make the same mistakes. Kingdoms do the same stupid things. Rulers fail their people time and again. Men continue to hurt and hate and die and kill. What if I think it's all meaningless? What if I don't want it to keep turning? We live our lives by the blood of others, and those others become forgotten. What good is it if everything we know will fade? Like, this was so, I don't think I cried here because it was a little too real for me, because this is what I'm struggling with in my life right now.
That's why I was like, oh shit.
These are, like, we talked earlier about how I'm a nihilist, and these are the things that I am currently struggling with my life, in that, you know, I don't have a lot of faith in humanity as a whole.
Nope.
And our ability to deal with climate change and what the future of our world is going to be.
Yeah.
And so I, much like Rand in this chapter, like, I look to you and my love for you for a lot of like my purpose and why I keep going, right? Mm-hmm. And for my friends and honestly, like, book club and like the community that we have.
Yeah. Because
I, like Rand screams into the sky, none of this matters. And that is a feeling that I struggle with a lot. And just honestly, like, it is probably the biggest difficulty in my life is trying to find passion and momentum in a world that I struggle with viewing as purposeful.
Yeah.
And I understand why people turn to religion for that, right? It is hard to find a why to what is the human existence.
Yeah, and it's really easy to like use religion as a crutch for that, because you don't have to come up with it yourself. There's a system, there's a thing already in place that you can lean on. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people do, and I think that in a lot of ways that's valid. I think that there's a whole other discussion about like the evils of religion, but I understand why people are drawn to it for sure.
Yeah, I think that Rand's conclusion is a little easy because he knows reincarnation is real. Right. And so the Wheel of Time version of the answer to this question is a much simpler one than I think the reality is, because I don't personally believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
I have to come up with it is a little bit harder for me to get to the answer.
There are people that are very upset with us that we don't believe in reincarnation, which I find
really?
very funny. There were a couple comments on, it was either last week or the week before's book club, when we were talking about Graendal nuking.
It would have been last week.
Last week, yeah. Who are very upset that we don't wholeheartedly believe in reincarnation, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, I don't believe in past lives. Sorry. If you do, great. Like, that's you. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm just saying what I believe in. Right?
It could very possibly exist. I have no reason to believe that it does.
And then it gets interesting in who's talking. Because we have, why do we live again? Lews Therin asked. Yes, Rand said. Tell me why. Maybe, Lews Therin said, why could it be? Maybe it's so that we have a second chance. And then I don't think from that moment on, Lews Therin is ever mentioned again. No. It is Rand talking to Rand. Lews Therin has this moment. Maybe it's so that we have a second chance. Is Lews Therin's final like time where it's Lews Therin speaking. And from then on, it is Rand speaking to himself. And I think that there's something so beautiful about, I know that you didn't love the way they were melded here, But I do love that Rand finds that Tam is the one that helps Rand find his way back to being one person.
Yeah.
Like Rand's individuality and his personality return to him because of his father. And I think there's something really like wonderful about that. And the amount of power, like, you know, Rand uses the Choden Call to mesh Mashadar and the Dark One's taint against one another to destroy them.
Yeah.
And he does the same thing with him and Lews Therin here. And he uses and burns up the Choden Call to unite himself, to bring himself together. And I think that there's something really beautiful about the final act of this great piece of power that Rand has been clinging to is not to destroy, but to unify and to make whole. And Rand is made whole by his father and by the power that for so long so many people have feared. People have looked at him carrying that around. Nynaeve in particular has looked at him carrying around this object of impossible power with such fear, and its final action in this world was to unify and to make him whole. And I think that it is, it's so moving. It really is. It's so moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a different experience with this chapter because again, I like I said, I definitely got a little emotional about this doesn't matter. You know, this doesn't fucking matter. Why the hell am I even trying, right? Like, what is the fucking point? And when I read through this, I didn't get from it that Rand used the power to like meld himself with Lews Therin. I thought he was using the power to break the Choden Call. Like, it was this moment is dramatic in like a fantasy sense. Like this is for storytelling purposes and to make it accessible for the reader to like have a touchstone for what happens in this moment. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel to me like. It felt like Rand is like, and I knew Lews Therin would never talk to me again. And I was like, why? Why though? Like I thought he was destroying the Choden Call, and then it was like suddenly Lews Therin was gone. And it's not like Lews Therin was just a voice in his head. It tried to seize the power. It was acknowledged as being real by like Semirhage and that kind of thing. And so I'm not gonna lie, the ending of this moment I don't think really landed for me because I don't felt like I entirely understood what was happening. It felt like it was just an easy fix.
I don't view it as that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because
yeah, we have very different interpretations of this.
Because it is Rand. For me, whether or not he was using the power to unify himself doesn't matter to me. It's the fact that in letting go of this power, in destroying it, in using all of this power to open the sky and bring the sun back.
Yeah.
Rand lets go of this vision of himself that he's been holding on to. And in doing that, him and Lews Therin become one again. And it doesn't matter to me whether the one power was important or not in that unification, but it is in the fact of using this power and in letting go of the idea that he has to wield this thing by himself and be alone. Mm-hmm. And use the most power possible to fight the biggest fight possible. In letting go of that and in actively destroying the possibility of that because he doesn't need it, he becomes whole in finding himself again. Like, it is more about, and yes, it is fantasy and it is story, but it is about him letting go of the vision of what he thinks the Dragon Reborn has to be himself. Because that is who the Dragon Reborn actually is. Yeah. And in letting go of that vision, I think that he's almost been holding on to Lews Therin as a voice in his head because he as Rand al'Thor, wasn't, even though he accepted he was the Dragon Reborn, wasn't able to accept that it was him. It's always been, well, Lews Therin. It's always been, well, there, you know, there's all these outside forces. And by pushing all of this power into pushing down the idea that he has to do this by himself, he opens himself up to the other side of himself and becomes fully realized as a single entity again in a way that he has been fighting against because he couldn't accept that other half of himself.
I think that the chapter wants us to think that Lews Therin was Rand all along. It just gets weird for me that, like, Lews Therin has different memories than Rand. Lews Therin knows different people than Rand
because
does.
Lews Therin is still Rand.
Yeah.
And Rand is Lews Therin. They are the same person. They're one soul across two timelines, right?
Yeah.
So they Lews Therin's memories are still Lews Therin's memories, but they're also Rand's memories because he is Rand. But Rand couldn't accept that until this moment.
Yeah, but like most people don't remember their past lives. They just get turned up by the wheel, and so it felt like they were different people in this. And I think the reason why this moment doesn't work for me is because they felt like two separate people, and Rand is like, no, we're actually the same person. And I was like, well, but like, you're not really, because you have made different decisions. Like Lews Therin's decisions are different than Rand's decisions. And it's like, did he like learn from last time? Which I'm assuming is why he's on Dragonmount, because he's not like, yeah, he's like almost does the same thing that Lews Therin does, but then doesn't. And I just don't really know, which is why I almost wish that this moment had come a little bit from an external source. So like
what external? This is all internal dialogue. Like there's
yes,
I don't even know how they do this on the show because of how internalized it is.
No, I know. I just think that like him, like I think that like breaking this cycle, that credit like at least a little bit should go to the people in his life. And I honestly thought that like Egwene was gonna show up and like be like just even just like as a face, like was gonna see something happening on Dragonmount, and there would be like this platonic like shift in Rand that came from the love in his life, as opposed to he just decides. It
does come from the love in his life, though. I don't think you need another person there for Rand to have this realization.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like, for me, like, it didn't really, like, click for me.
That's fair.
Because he feels like two separate people, not one and the same.
I don't know. I guess I sometimes feel like I'm two separate people. And so I relate to that. And I apparently that's, like, whatever, it like, a thing. But, I don't know. I can relate to having two voices in my head that don't have the same opinion. And having to figure out what I actually want.
Yeah.
Even though I'm being pulled in different directions. And I think Rand just had an extreme version of that. I do want to go back up really quickly.
Yeah, there was some...
Biz D, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
I don't think the power had anything to do with it. It was all psychological. That's fair. I think the moment does, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that it is kind of open to interpretation.
Tom Maines, thank you for joining the Nargs for a full year.
Welcome. 12 months. Let's
Love
go.
that you guys like book club again. Let's go. I want to be very clear. I never disliked book club. I just didn't like the books.
Didn't love the certain books. Yeah.
Turvok, thank you for that super chat. Nerdy gets it mostly, but I 100% interpret it like you. Clara's my first read. Read and find out for some more help, maybe. Yeah, we'll get there. There's more. There's 2 more books, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why Bella wasn't there.
I just have... I'm not 100% sure why this didn't work for me, but it just kind of felt like... Oh, and I'm good. Oh, never gonna hear Lews Therin again. And I was like, but why?
Because
if you are the same person, that voice should still be there. Like, you know,
no, because he doesn't need the voice anymore. He needed the voice before this, and he doesn't need it now.
Why did he need the voice?
Because he couldn't fully accept... Because he needed there to be a version of the Dragon Reborn that he could point to, so that he could externalize an element of himself that he didn't want to recognize and deal with. And by finally recognizing and dealing with and integrating that into himself, he doesn't need that voice anymore. He doesn't need to externalize his issues or cut himself off from the world.
That would make 100% total sense to me if Lews Therin wasn't a totally separate person who had different memories and opinions and
But the important thing is that he never was. He never was a separate person. He always was Rand. Rand just couldn't accept it until now.
But it wasn't always, because Rand at the beginning doesn't have any of this. Like
but my point is that Rand's inability to accept that they were always the same person was the problem, not the fact that they were different. They were always the same person. They also almost never disagree with one another. Lews Therin sometimes fought to use the one power, but like in terms of their perspective on the world, they almost never disagree throughout the entire series. They just yell at each other a lot and they frustrate each other, right? But, like, they get on board with each other's shit really quickly. And, like, even earlier in this, Rand says early in the reading, Lews Therin's voice doesn't sound like Lews Therin anymore. It sounds like him.
Yeah, I know it starts to sound more and more like him.
Because the entire time they were the same person, Rand just couldn't fully accept that. And now that he can, that voice is gone because there's nothing for Rand to point to anymore except himself. He can finally look inward and finally take responsibility, like Egwene. This is really like a responsibility thing, like we were talking about with Egwene. Rand can finally take responsibility for himself as being the Dragon Reborn and how important that is to his narrative.
Yeah, it just feels weird of Lews Therin being in his head, being like, there's a madman in my head.
Yes, and I think that part of that is Rand expected madness because of the story of the Taint. And Rand bought into the story of the Taint so much that he placed madness on Lews Therin, not realizing that it was just his grief. And you know what? I'm assuming that Rand also is in so much pain because, interestingly, Rand doesn't talk about the wounds in his side because he's been externalizing that pain into a voice in his head. He has been projecting it away from himself intellectually. All his feelings. Lews Therin is the one weeping about the women that he's killed.
Yeah, but Semirhage says that that's like a thing. That like people go mad.
And Semirhage also says that they can be brought back together. Semirhage says that you can reunite the voice in the mind, but it is incredibly hard to do.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Semirhage is because Semirhage is the only one who's done it, right? Like that is why Semirhage is the brilliant person, is because she's the only person who's been able to reunite the voice in the head like this. Like Rand is not the first person to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I totally appreciate your point of view, and I hope you don't feel like I'm trying to pull you to mine. I don't want to like argue with you and like try and I just want to explain my point of view on this because this is one of my favorite moments in the series.
Totally.
And I think it is so brilliant to me. And the way that I read it, in that like Rand has shunted responsibility and pain and grief into this voice in his head for so long.
Yeah.
And he is finally going to feel those things for real. And I think it's Graendal. Yeah. I just loved it. I loved it. I think it's great. And I'm sorry that didn't work for you the same way.
No, I just the final beat of it just rang a little hollow for me in a way that was like weird because I was so emotionally invested in what was happening in the rest of the chapter.
Arzu, thank you for that super chat. Tam's episode 1 speech was written specifically to be played over the scene when the show does it. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Gathering Storm epilogue. Bathed in light. Egwene. This is just another chapter. I don't know why this is the epilogue. This is just another chapter of the book.
It feels like it.
Well, like so many of the epilogues in this series cut to other perspectives or are from perspectives that we don't typically see.
Yeah.
And this is just another Egwene chapter. So I thought it was a little weird that it was the epilogue. But it's really just about Egwene and Sylviana. They work really well together.
Yeah.
This is working out.
Sylviana's strengths really help Egwene accomplish what she needs to do.
I did like that she's like, Ramonda and Lelaine are going to be problems for the rest of my fucking life.
Yep. Yes, they are.
And most of the Black Aja who are in the White Tower escaped.
And she has a proper desk.
Yeah. She got rid of all of Aleda's shit.
Yeah. And she's also not just fixing the wall up completely. She's like leaving a monument with the rose glass.
She identifies 3 people she thinks might be Masana. I think they're all wrong. Who do you think Masana is? Because I think I figured it out.
You think you figured it out?
Yeah.
Who?
I think I figured out who Masana is.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like fairly confident. Who do you think Masana is in the White Tower? And got around the oath rod? I think it's so obvious now.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's like so obvious.
The problem is I don't remember anyone's names.
You remember this person's name.
Do I?
Yeah.
Sure.
You didn't have any guesses in this chapter? You weren't thinking about it?
No.
Okay, well then I'll just say mine.
Yeah.
It's Laris.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, it's Laris.
No.
Yes.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Who else would it be? The one character that has been at the center of all of the Black Aja plots. They needed the rebellion, so she got Siuan out of the fucking place. as soon as Egwene's plan was working and she was undermining Aleda and Aleda's destruction of the White Tower, Laris is the one that's going to secret her out of the thing. Laris has been there the whole time. And you know who's not going to be given the oath rod to swear the oaths and asked if she's a dark friend? Laris, because she's a cook. And nobody's going to look at the cook.
But she has no power in the tower. Like, it just doesn't seem like one of the Forsaken
She doesn't
would
need that power. She just needs to hear everything. Who hears everything? The fucking kitchens. The kitchens everywhere know everything about everybody. Laris shows up as a smoke monster to, like, influence the dark Black Aja who work there. But Laris is the fucking Masana. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it right now.
Okay, all right.
Varen thinks Laris is a good person. Laris has got everyone convinced. She's in.
But, like, we know what the bottom of Masana's dress looks like, and that doesn't sound like something Laris would be wearing. Like, Laris is like kitchen
You're right.
clothes.
I think that the limit on the Forsaken's power is their clothes. So I think that's...
No, but I just mean, like, that just seems like it would be too nice of a dress for Laris to be wearing. Right? Because there's
Unless
like the vision
she's
that, like...
a Forsaken and changed or used magic.
No, but she used magic to hide herself when she was talking to Alviarin, right? And didn't Alviarin, like, kind of see the weave, like, ripple a little bit, and it's like, oh no, I can see the hem underneath the disguise.
Sure, but who knows what Masana was wearing to that meeting? Who has more access to the entire tower than the head chef? Who gets to hear all the gossip? Who has her servants running notes and shit around the palace secretly in soup? Laris is shady as fuck. I think I've called it. I think I figured it out.
Just weird. Like, what? Why did she take a liking to Min then?
To fuck with her. What does Laris do to Min? Laris makes Min do everything she doesn't want to do. Laris is, like, fucking with her the whole time. Oh my god, you're such a pretty girl. Laris literally makes Min's life miserable. When Min gets away from her, she's like, I'm so fucking glad I can finally get away from what Laris was doing to me. I'm calling it. I'm calling it now. I might be wrong, but I'm calling it.
Okay.
And then, so Sylviana's like, you gotta come see this. And Egwene is like, what? Karlak said, thank you for that super chat. Way back in, like, book 4, Nerdy predicted Egwene needed to be captured one more time before she becomes Amelin. He was right. I'm always right, guys.
Yeah.
My predictions, always right.
That level up.
Masana is Laris. So she takes her out into the hall where a beautiful rose-tinted window is being installed so that they remember the attack forever.
Yeah.
And they look out, and the sun is gonna shine again. Sun is gonna shine again. Sun is gonna shine again. Sun is gonna shine again.
Nailed it.
If you've never listened to the musical Bright Star, I recommend it. It's on Spotify. Beautiful, beautiful musical written by Steve Martin. It's very sad. We'll make you cry. And yeah, this is probably the last happy moment we're gonna have for a while. So enjoy it.
Yeah, honestly though.
Hopefully food starts growing, because I don't really understand how anyone's alive at this point. But yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
At the end of a book.
Guys, we made it. We fucking made it. 824 pages. Let's go.
I like this one a lot.
Me too.
I really like this book a lot. This is definitely one of my favorite books in the series.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Probably gonna end up being in the top 3 at least. Like, I don't know.
I mean, both of the next 2 books would have to be remarkable for this to get pushed down.
Yeah.
Because this was great. I had some complaints early on, but, like, there were small things. They didn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
But this book as a whole was just really beautiful. And Brandon Sanderson is he's brought a lot to the series that I love. Shall we high-low?
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know if you guys know this, but the way that we high-low here is that my family used to do this when we were at dinner so that we could commiserate over each other's lows, celebrate each other's highs. The way we do it is Claire starts with her high. I do my low, she does her low, I do my high, because we compliment sandwich this biche. Clarus, what was your high for the final section of The Gathering Storm?
There are so many good moments.
It's true.
Like, so many. Do you know what your high is?
Of course I do.
Okay, I'm like trying to like anticipate it so I can pick something different.
You know what my high is.
Is it her speech?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna pick Egwene handling Gawain.
Good moment.
That one just like really set a standard for this series that I know and believe it can live up to. Especially with its commentary on perceived gender roles. So that is my high. I think it's fantastic. What's your low?
My shirt.
Yeah, fuck Cadsuane.
I just hate her. I think like she's made everything worse, and she's so narcissistic that she can't see that, and it's so disappointing because she could have been a force for good, and I think she has honestly been a force for the dark without even wanting to be. But that's what narcissism does. It unfortunately it burns the people around the narcissist first, and then it burns the narcissist themselves. But
yep.
I find her to be an absolutely miserable character, and I will not miss her when the series is over.
That's fair. Milo is, I don't really know what Min is doing. Like why she's there working with, like I just don't.
Rand has pushed her away, right?
No, I know.
She's struggling is what she's doing.
I know. I wish we got some insight as to like what she wants from this, like from working with Cadsuane and like not being around Rand as much. Like I don't know. It's weird, right? I don't know how I feel about it, and so it's just my low.
I hear you. I think that what I love about Min right now is that she does feel pushed away, and she is struggling with Rand, and yet she's so devoted to him that she's still spending her time trying to help him, even if it's from afar.
Yeah.
Like, she's still trying to figure out things for him, and I think that level of loyalty is really beautiful, and I agree with you. Like, I think that Min is being a little bit shunted, but I don't know what else she can do right now. Like, ever since he lost a hand because of Semiraj's attack, I don't know that she knows how to approach him anymore.
Yeah.
Because she feels responsible for that.
Fair.
And so I think that she's trying to do her best in a way that I understand and I empathize with.
Yeah. Fair. No, I just, yeah, it's just weird to me.
I think my high is obvious. It's Egwene's speech. I read the entire thing on this stream. We might get DMCA'd for that. I don't know how that works, but I put plenty of my commentary in there, so I think it's understandable. I think it is just one of my favorite pieces of writing. It is such a. There's so much love for the early books in it, particularly in the way that Brandon Sanderson writes the Aiel's influence on Egwene, and I love that you can just so feel the Aiel's influence on Egwene throughout that speech. It's one of my favorite pieces of writing in the whole series. I was so moved by it. Mm-hmm. There's so much brutal honesty in it, and so much kindness in it, and so much hype in it, and it really hits all of the things that you want it to hit. And I do hope we get to see it in live action, and if we do see it in live action, I hope they don't change a word, because I would be very disappointed. I think it is. Yeah. It's just perfectly done.
And I think it really highlights that Brandon Sanderson didn't try to make this series his own. Yeah. He pulled from the earlier stuff and the source material and really honored Robert Jordan.
There's so much love and respect for Robert Jordan in this book.
Yes.
Which I appreciate, because I came into this book struggling with my love and respect for Robert Jordan because of the previous novels. Yeah. And so I think that Brandon Sanderson rekindled my love for The Wheel of Time as a whole by having so much love and respect for Robert Jordan's writing, instead of writing a Wheel of Time book that made me love Brandon Sanderson and want to like forget about Robert Jordan. Yeah. I don't think he did that. I think he did a really wonderful job paying tribute to a man who he clearly had a lot of love and respect for.
Yeah, and honorable mention obviously to the stuff with Rand. Like I said, there were so many highs of this book that it's really difficult to pick one. They're like this section just full of bangers, and it's going to be interesting to see what the next book is after this.
I hope we get, I really hope we get Avienda's Ruinian moment.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping that was going to be this week, so I'm hopeful it's early in the next book, because I want her back with Rand soon.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. Y'all, that is going to be book club for this week. What a week. What a book. The questions channel is going to open. Get your questions in for full book recap next week.
Yes.
I'm excited to talk more about this book. I'm like, there were some times in the slog where I was like, I don't know if I want to do a full book recap. But now that we're here, I want to keep talking about The Gathering Storm because I do love it so much. And I'm reminded why I wanted to do the full book recaps in the first place. This book is a perfect example. I'm not done talking about this novel yet.
Yeah.
So please get your questions in. Sometimes we do kind of just general questions. Let's really, I want to dive into Gathering Storm with you all. So please keep in mind that the funny questions are great, but I would like to have some deep ones. And yeah, we will see you all read the opening of the lines of the next book. No, we do that in the full book recap.
In the recap, yep, to set us up for the following book club.
Malindio asked, did Nerdy not like the slog books? I don't know. There's 40 hours of podcast of me talking about them, so you can go determine for yourself how I felt.
Yeah, you can take a look at that.
I think I made it pretty clear.
Hopefully we'll see some of y'all for the morning show on Monday at 11 a.m.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
Standard Time.
It's going to be big.
Yeah, going to be a good one.
And if you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Head over to Apple Podcasts, rate this podcast 5 stars. Write whatever you want because we will read it. Clearly, I read that entire poem. So
you did that.
Okay, try and keep them a little bit shorter than that one, maybe. But if you don't want to, don't. I'll read it. Follow us on the internet. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
As always, y'all, do something nerdy tonight.
Bye, guys.
Bye to everyone who doesn't want to listen to Smut Corner.
What?
What's Smut Corner this week?
I mean, I don't know. It's probably just all Swan and Gareth Bryan, right?
Where aren't they gonna fuck? They're gonna fuck in every room of that White Tower.
Every fucking room.
That poor library in the basement
room.
No one goes into. Brian's gonna bend Swan over that desk, just fucking plow down that shit.
Oh my god. I don't know. Swan seems like the kind of person that's like, no, after we get married. And that just is that's sad. No.
No.
The world might end. You know, you gotta get
that night.
Gotta get your boning in.
Yeah, there's not a lot of other places I would put it, honestly. It's tough.
Yeah.
Rand having some me time on Dragonmount.
It's like, I just need a low release, you know? Just need to chill out a little bit.
Cadsuane's girls are doing needlework.
The fuck?
They're pillow friends. Beldine and Corell for sure. Not Corell,
sure.
the other one with them. Yeah, not a lot of Smut Corner. All of the pillow friends that were Salad Barbarians
on opposite sides.
Yeah. They come back together.
Yeah. They get to reunite. And
one thing I'm excited for the next book is if the Aes Sedai that stayed out of it, them coming back to the White Tower now, what that's going to look like.
Oh, I mean, some of them will for sure. Probably not all of them though.
Yeah. None of the Black Aja will, because they'll be warned. But
yeah, they ain't going anywhere near there.
Yeah, this wasn't a very sex heavy section.
No,
not a lot of room for that.
This wasn't super spicy, but I
it was great.
Gareth and Swan brought all of the spice.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite weeks of reading we've done. It was very, very, very good.
Yeah.
Do something nerdy tonight, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Thank you to our mods. Bye.
Bye.